In this episode of John's Arcade, we're gonna grab my buddy Adam from One Circuit and go pick up a rare arcade game. And guys, this is not any old game. This is the very first coin-operated video game ever. Yes, Comptuer Space, and this one is yellow. And then we're gonna come back to the basement and do some interviews. Yes, we're gonna interview Ed Freeze, formerly of Microsoft and Xbox, and talk to him about his Comptuer Space, which he just fixed. And then we're gonna talk to Kevin from ComputerSpaceFan.com. Then we'll come back to the table and do viewer mail. But guys, buckle up because this is gonna be a Comptuer Space extravaganza. This is the Comptuer Space episode. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. Hey guys, we are in the basement and today we're gonna do a John's Arcade on the road / game pickup / interview. Yes, interview video, guys. This is going to be a jam-packed John's Arcade episode. And honestly, I am very excited about this episode because this is not any old John's Arcade video. Well, number one, well, we're gonna be picking up a game, and not just any old game, a very important and rare game, a game that I'm besides myself about this, okay? This game is very important to gaming history because it is the first, that's right, the very first coin-operated video game. Think about that, okay? This is the first coin-operated video game. And of course, we're talking about Comptuer Space. And Comptuer Space, if you guys don't know, was developed by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney. Of course, we know that they went on to form ATARI, right? These are the guys that created ATARI. Well, before they were called ATARI, they called themselves Syzygy, okay? And they partnered with a company called Nutting and Associates to release this game called Comptuer Space. Now, Nolan and Ted designed it and made the game, and then Nutting and Associates manufactured and distributed the game. And Nutting and Associates was a coin-operated, vendor or whatever in California. Actually, when we went to Gene Lewin's vintage arcade superstore, he actually had some of the early Nutting and Associates like trivia games, because they had like these mechanical trivia games that had like films and stuff. They weren't video games; they had like film, like to show graphics and stuff. But anyway, yes, this is the very first coin-operated video game, and depending on who you ask, the first commercial video game. Okay, so the game came out in 1971. They made 1,500 of them. That's it, 1,500. And 99% of them were in the colors red and blue. Now, the one we're gonna pick up in this episode is very special because it is in the color yellow. Yellow. And supposedly they made less than 20 of these yellow ones. They were like early, not prototypes, but just the very first ones they made were yellow. And I guess the story goes is that Nolan and Ted wanted it to be yellow, and then they made those first yellow ones, and then they were out of the picture, and then Nutting continued making them, and then they made them red and blue in this kind of like sparkly, and by the way, the cabinet's fiberglass, this kind of sparkly bass boat red and blue color, but the very first ones were just a solid yellow color, and that was kind of Nolan and Ted's vision as far as I can tell. So anyway, in this video, we're gonna go pick up the game, okay, because I bought it from a guy in Claw. This guy, Wesley, super awesome guy, one of the best sellers I've ever dealt with, and Wesley created the game up and he shipped it up here to a warehouse in Connecticut. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up my buddy Adam. You guys know him, he's from OneCircuit.com. Adam makes those coin ups, which is like a little free play board for any game. Adam's also working on the multi pole position clone board. Good friend of mine. We're gonna pick him up and we're gonna bring him with us. Now Adam has no idea what we're doing. He doesn't know which game we're picking up. I haven't told him. I wanted it to be a surprise, so he doesn't know. So we're gonna pick up Adam, go to the warehouse, get the game, we'll bring it back here, we'll check it out, we'll see what we can do, maybe we can get it to do something, and then afterwards, we're gonna do some interviews, because really, I'm gonna need some help with this game. This is old technology. This game is from 1971. This game is older than me. And honestly, the game is crazy. It has a TV. It has a black and white GE television set in it because at the time, there was no concept of arcade monitors, okay? There was no video game monitors. So they took an off-the-shelf TV and put it in it, okay? And then the board, the PCB, has no CPU. It's only transistor to transistor logic, TTL. So this is unlike anything I've worked on. So So we're going to be talking to a couple of guys. One of them is Ed Freeze. Now, Ed Freeze is like a famous Microsoft dude. He was one of the first Excel programmers. He was on Microsoft Publishing in the games division. He helped launch the Xbox. He helped sign Bungie and Halo and all that stuff. But anyway, Ed is a cool dude. I actually interviewed him a long time ago on VGO. And recently, Ed picked up a yellow computer space. Yes, just like me. And I'm like, oh my God. And he documented the entire thing on his blog at edfreeze.wordpress.com. And by the way, freeze is spelled like fries, so it's like edfries.wordpress.com. So Ed bought a broken computer space, and he fixed it up, and he documented the whole process, and so I thought he would be a great one to talk to, so we're going to interview him in this video, and let me tell you, it's a great interview. Ed is so cool. What an awesome guy, and he pretty much tells me about his whole story with the game, how he fixed it, where to look. He gives me a lot of tips as, you know, going forward, because I'm going to need them. He gave me a lot of tips where to start, you know, where to probe around, and where, you know, just, I'm going to need all kinds of help, and he gave me tons of advice. So that's going to be an awesome interview. And then we're also going to interview Kevin from ComputerSpaceFan.com. Now, ComputerSpaceFan.com is kind of like the Bible of computer space. It's this guy, Kevin. He made this website. He's compiled tons of data and interviews and just all kinds of facts about computer space. So this guy is a walking computer space encyclopedia. So I thought it'd be very helpful to talk to him and get some advice as we go forward, because this game's broken, guys, and I have to fix it, and I don't know what I'm doing yet. So we need to gather up as much intel as we can. Okay, I know that was long-winded. I went as fast as I could. So enough of that. Let's get in the car. Let's take a ride over to Adams. Let's pick him up, and let's go pick us up a computer space. All right, guys, we're driving, and we just came into Connecticut, and guess who's here? Adam's here.
Hey, how's it going, people?
What's up, Adam?
Not much, Johnny.
Thanks for coming, pal.
Sure, my pleasure.
So do you know what we're doing here? Do you know what we're getting?
You told me we were getting a Puckman.
I did not say that.
That's what you said.
I did not say a Puckman.
I was hoping to get you this.
So we're going to pick up a game, and I shipped it from Alabama.
Wow.
And it was shipped via Pilot Air.
I'm trying to think of what's on your.
You'll never guess what it is. I'm just telling you, you're not going to guess.
Is it that rare? Okay.
It is indeed.
Okay.
And I don't want to tell you too much.
Oh, all right. Does it work?
Nope.
Oh. Which is why you brought me.
I brought you, and because I'm going to need your logic probe to figure this one out.
All right.
I'll say this. It's probably a very simple game.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
What?
Oh, I don't want to say it.
You do think you know what it is?
Maybe. Should I say it?
Do you really? Do you know?
What's the?
What?
Man, I don't know if I can remember. What's the first game that Bushnell put out there?
I don't know.
Is that the game?
I don't know. Why would you think that? Why would you think it's that game? What?
Is it a newer game or an older game? It's gotta be an older game.
It's old. Yeah.
What's the name of that game?
There's no CPU.
Oh.
TTL only.
Really? That's alright. What's the name of what
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't remember
so,
the game. It's
all right.
iconic thing.
I don't know. All right, Adam. So why I have you here? Why we're on the way?
Yeah.
What's going on with your pole position clone board? Come on.
No, it's coming along. I mean, I worked since the video that you and I did.
Yes.
I worked a lot on the external memory interface.
Okay.
And I got that about 50% of the way done.
Okay.
It's a DRAM based RAM on the FPGA arcade, so we're gonna have all this refresh going on and stuff like that while I'm trying to funnel all the requests from all the ROM logic out to the memory. And so, long story short, it's getting there, but
it's getting there.
Work is really taking over my life right now.
So, do you think we could maybe see it this year?
I think my plan is to at least have the prototype this year. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's.
I mean, everyone is waiting for your. And by the way, if you guys don't know, Adam is making a pole position clone board which is a modern FPGA board that has pole position 1 and 2, ATARI and Namco versions. So it's going to be a drop-in replacement.
What do you think about the name, though, for a production?
The name?
Yeah, like, I can't picture the multi-game coming up and saying pole position clone. You think we should change that?
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll have to figure something out.
Does it even need to have a name?
I don't know, I'd like to have some name.
But
we should do like a...
but why not just have it
we should do like
when it boots?
artwork for it or something.
Is that cheesy, though?
No, why not if we do it right?
I mean, if you turn it on, wouldn't it be cool if it just said pole position and then select game, left and right? I mean, isn't that enough?
Yeah.
So like the J-Rock board, that doesn't say J-Rock anywhere on the...
Right at the bottom it's got J-Rock. Yeah.
It does?
It doesn't say, well, no, a multi-Williams, right? That's what he called it.
Right.
You didn't just turn it on and it said...
You want to call it the multi-pole?
I don't know.
Right. The pole?
Sounds like a strip joint.
I know.
I don't know.
Well, hey, if you guys got an idea for this board, let us know. Yeah. Maybe there's some pun we can do. What?
But yeah, no, it's a good idea.
So, all right, well, Adam's still working on that, and hopefully later this year we'll have some more concrete information on the schedule.
There you go.
So we're still driving. We're going to be at Pilot Air real soon, and basically I ship this thing terminal to terminal instead of to my house.
Okay.
And you save a lot of money that way.
Okay.
So the guy, Wesley, who I bought the game from, he dropped it off at Pilot Air in Alabama.
Wow.
And then they shipped it to the Pilot Air up here in Connecticut.
How many buffets was that? Ship that?
$250.
250 buffets?
$250.
Oh, bucks, okay.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not.
Huh.
But the seller has to put a little work into it.
Okay.
Because he made a crate.
Yeah.
And he had to drop it off.
Okay.
But I've shipped 3 games now, and I've done all of them this way.
Right.
With Pilot Air.
Okay.
The first game I shipped was $175. The second one was like $200, and this one was $249.
The Donkey Kong that you got, was that shipped this way?
It was.
Okay.
Yep. So anyway,
cool.
All right, guys, let's keep driving. We're almost at the warehouse to pick up the game. Adam, this is it. We got to ring the bell.
Only once, though. All
right, don't abuse that bell.
This one?
Yeah. Excited?
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you got. You're very hush-hush.
Hi. Hey. So here it is.
Yeah, let me move it over here for you. And,
okay. It's an arcade machine. No, I didn't. All right, I'll check in. Huh? Ooh. All right, so the guy's gonna, oh, he brought it over there. All right, so let's get our screw guns and go to town on this thing. Are you excited, Adam?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, Adam, are we doing this?
Hold on. Hold this.
Huh? Sure hope they let us leave this stuff here. We'll give you a strap. So what do you think, Adam? Do you know what it is yet?
I can't think of the name. I feel like I'm on Jeopardy and I'm about to lose.
What do you think it is?
Oh, I don't remember the name. What's it called? That's the game. What is it called?
Huh?
Oh, Comptuer Space.
Yes.
I was close. Had space in the name.
So listen, there's like less than 20 of these in yellow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, in yellow.
They made 1,500. This is the very first arcade game ever made.
I didn't know that you were into this.
Yeah. 1971. This is Nolan Bushnell's first game.
Wow.
See the company Syzygy?
Oh, yeah.
That was what he called Atari before it was Atari.
No kidding.
Yep. And then after this game, he changed the name because he said that name's dumb. And he changed it to Atari. But Nutting Associates made it.
Wow.
And this is yellow, which is like uber rare, and it doesn't have a coin lock, which means it's one of the very early ones.
So how do you, doesn't have a coin lock?
I have no idea.
No coin door?
You have to get the money out from the back.
Oh,
I think on the later ones they put a lock here so this control panel can come off and you can get the money that way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but let's get it out of here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and unpack this, but I'm getting damn excited. So Adam, this thing is really serious packing, right? All right, Adam, so we got the game out of the crate, but now we have a big mess that will not fit in my car. I think we should unwrap this when we get to my house.
Yeah. Big reveal.
The big reveal. But there it is. It's actually shorter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's less than 6 feet tall. I mean, it's like 5'6", 5'7".
How light it is.
It's very light, we found out. I mean, this thing is like 120 pounds.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's just fiberglass.
How big's the monitor?
It's a 15 inch.
Oh, okay.
It's a 15 inch black and white. It's a GE Adventurer 2 TV that was decased.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right, let's figure out what we're gonna do with all this junk because we gotta clean this up. But hopefully these guys are cool. All right, so we got the pallet the box all palletized, and they're gonna help me get rid of it. So thanks, Pilot Air. So let's get a hand cart. And should we get a hand cart and reel this to the car?
Sure.
Okay, it's in. These Pilot Air guys are pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
They helped us get it in here and they let us leave the wood. You can't beat that.
No.
So the thing fit in here no problem. It's actually really short. I mean, I've gotten a punch out in here.
Yeah.
So this fits no problem. All right, so we got it. I'm pretty excited, Adam.
Me too, man.
What do you think?
I'm sorry I kind of guessed it.
You did guess it. You totally guessed it.
I thought
what are you eating? Oreos? What's going on here?
I have a problem.
You brought a bag of Oreos?
Don't judge me. That's my one weak. Now everybody knows my one weakness.
The winter Oreos. Those are red.
Yeah, no, these are the ones.
Okay, it's red. Is it like a strawberry flavor or cherry?
It's the same flavor. They just color it. It's double stuff. I eat so much junk food. I don't know.
So this game does not work.
Okay.
And I was, yeah, I don't know if it's the board, the power supply, the monitor, and it has like an old TV in it.
Okay.
I did some research. It's a GE Adventurer 2. It's like a 15-inch TV. Mm-hmm. And because there was no concept of arcade monitors when this came out.
Right. Yeah.
It's the first.
Right.
It's the first video arcade game.
They were trying something new.
Right. So when we get back to my house, we'll open it up and take a peek. And
cool.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say about the logic boards and what you see.
Yeah, the fact that it has no CPU, that's like mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
It's crazy awesome, and they did something really cool on the PCB because the shape of the ships, of the ship, they laid it out that shape on the board in diodes.
Oh, really?
Or resistors.
Like just to make it kind of artsy or whatever?
To make it artsy and also tell you which part controls which part on the screen.
That's awesome.
So if the ship's made of like 10 dots, right? They laid out the resistors or diodes in the exact shape of the ship with 10.
So if something's sketchy in a part of the ship, you know exactly where the components are. Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is crazy.
So I'm interested to see that. So
cool.
But if you could help me, it'd be awesome. But I'm actually looking at this as a learning experience for me. Yeah. As for like getting in there with a logic probe and really.
You can't get more simpler than a game like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this game's so basic that this would be a great one to cut my teeth on.
Sure.
With a logic probe. So.
Cool.
But if you can maybe guide me.
Yeah. You want to swing by my house and get a logic probe or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know how fast and what our schedule is on this.
Yeah.
The game only takes 5 volts.
Okay.
And it's composite video out or something, so I don't know how easy it is to hook it up to a test bench.
Okay.
So we got to figure that out.
Right.
But
cool.
All right, so let's go back to the basement, actually to the garage, and unload this thing and check it out. So, but Pilot Air, those guys were awesome.
Yeah.
And I got to say that Wesley, thank you, bro. You really packed that thing like a pro, dude. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better packing job.
That was insane.
That thing wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, let's keep driving. All right, so Adam's doing some research here about how this game works.
I don't know, man.
So what are you finding out?
Right, so here's what it says here. Computer Space uses no microprocessor, RAM, or ROM. Awesome.
No RAM, no ROM.
No nothing. The entire computer system is a state machine made of 74 series TTL chips. Graphical elements are held in diode arrays, and the physical configuration is made up of 3 PCBs interconnected through a common bus. The display is rendered on a General Electric 15-inch black and white, like you said, portable television vacuum tube set, which was specifically modified for Computer Space.
So what, does that give you any clues what's going on here?
I mean, it's got to be very simple.
So the diode array was what I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
With the shape of the ships?
I don't get that.
Huh?
I don't get that.
It's crazy, right?
I don't know.
What is a diode array?
Well, it's just an array of diodes, but I don't understand how they're using it to hold the bits of the ship, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna
But those diodes are telling the TV where to draw?
I don't know, man.
It's crazy stuff, dude.
It is. It's
I think, so Nolan Bushnell and,
who's the guy?
oh, his partner.
Ted Dabney?
Ted Dabney. They're the ones that made this.
Yep.
I think Ted Dabney was technically the engineer on it and did the schematic.
Okay. Says it was the first commercially sold arcade coin-operated video game of all time.
First coin-operated video game of all time, right?
That's what it says, yeah.
And the first commercially available video game too, right?
Yes.
So it's the first video game.
Yeah.
Period.
First arcade game, right? Is that how you want to say it? Or?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when did like Ralph Baer's like Tennis for Two come out? Like the Odyssey stuff. Was that around? Was that mid '70s?
Hold on. It says, and indeed, this is the first commercially video game of any kind, predating the Magnavox Odyssey's release by 6 months.
By 6 months, but Nolan Bushnell was a little sneaky.
Yeah.
He knew what Ralph Baer was doing.
Yeah.
And but I guess the story is this is based on like Space War or something. And Nolan was playing that in college on the PDP, like mainframes.
Oh, okay.
And so he had the inspiration to commercialize it.
Okay.
And I think that's where his inspiration came from, because he was playing on the PDPs. These guys were making games like on oscilloscopes and stuff, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy history, man.
Turn left onto Connecticut 187 North.
Now this game is okay, so it's a black and white. It's not a vector.
It's not vector. No. It's a raster game using a standard off-the-shelf GE TV that they decased it,
Modified for this.
and it's a vacuum tube TV, meaning there's vacuum tubes.
Man, are you serious?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if this thing breaks?
Well, you can get
What's the state of the game? Do you know what the state of the game is?
Well, we know the power supply's dead.
Okay.
That's
not bad.
easily
That's
remedied.
problem.
It's only 5 volts.
Right.
So I can use any old modern power supply.
Right.
Okay. The TV, I'm gonna have to learn how to rebuild it. And you can buy the tubes. So
It's just, but it's like shotgunning. Like you can't test anything.
Well, I hope to reach out to people who are experts on this game, and hopefully they can give me some advice.
Yeah.
You know.
Continue on Connecticut 187 North for 2 miles.
I don't know what to do about. I mean, it's not like I can't go to Bob Roberts and get a cap kit for this TV. What?
Get a tube kit.
So I've been looking on eBay the last couple of weeks, seeing if one of these TVs would come up, because they do come up for sale. One sold in December.
How much?
It sold for $250, I think.
Okay.
I think it was a buy it now of $250, and the starting bid was $125. Someone bought it like in 1 second, because everyone that has these games are looking for this TV.
Can you replace it with any 15-inch black and white?
There is some documentation. Yes, you have to. You need to know where to tap it into.
Well, it still would be a pain to try to find another 15-inch black and white.
Right. The little bit of research I did said that the video signal was tapped in like right before the tuner or something. Like they literally like just tapped it in, like where they bypassed the tuner circuit or something.
Right after the tuner.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, all right. Well, let's say this when we get to the house.
Yeah.
We'll dissect this thing when we open it up, but it's definitely going to be interesting. So let's keep driving. We're currently lost. I have no idea where we are. We took all kinds of wrong turns, but it's beautiful. It's pretty out here. All right, guys, let's keep driving.
Drowning in the days that we don't need. I'm waiting in my car, and the dark end of
Adam.
We made it.
It's in the garage. So let's unwrap this thing. I think we should cut it from the back because the back is like plywood. It's probably the safest place to cut. So, what do you think? Will this do?
Get that from the war?
What?
Is that what you in the war?
Yes.
It's crazy.
Huh.
You have a box cutter.
I don't know if I have a box cutter. Oh, he's got.
Does he have war stuff? No, well, he's got like a bed sheet.
Oh, there's a bed sheet on it. All right, let me get a utility knife.
Yeah, you go.
All right, Adam.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you want to do it? You found a utility knife.
I found a knife.
So he wrapped this thing with Sears Center. What does it say?
Security something?
Security Center. Return.
Sears Center. Return. Oh yeah, I thought it said security.
All right, so you can see the back is all plywood. It's like a bathtub. It's like a fiberglass shell, and they filled it in with wood. I'm pretty excited here. Oh, dude, come on. Look at that thing.
Crazy. Look at that.
Look how badass that is, dude.
The font and stuff and all that down there. Do you see the on-off brightness?
Oh yeah, there's a cover here that that obviously fell off in transit. Dude, I'm pretty happy to see the monitor or the TV is still in its home there. Dude, this thing is ridiculous. Come on. Dude, this is art. Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what's going on here, too. This is the first video arcade game. It's in my garage.
That's crazy.
And there's less than 20 of the yellow ones.
Man. Time Out. Look at this.
Yeah.
Family Amusements from New York.
Right. So it has a little serial tag on here. Yeah. So this thing was at the Time Out Family Amusement Center on East 39th Street, or maybe that was the office.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm definitely not taking that out. So just looking at here, you know, we've got some like cracks. It's not, the fiberglass isn't cracked, it's like the clear coat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like probably buff this and treat this like a bass boat or like a Corvette, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it looks awesome. And so I did some research. I've been reading up on this game like big time. And so the very early ones, maybe even prototype level, did not have a lock here.
Okay.
The later ones, they added a lock to get to the coin bucket.
So what would a person have to do? Pop the back open?
Yes. To get the money out, you had to pull the game off the wall and open the back in the early ones.
Okay.
And I guess that was really annoying.
Right.
So they added a lock here that I think released the control panel.
Okay.
But, dude, this thing looks awesome. I cannot believe I have this.
Crazy.
It is, dude, this is from 1971, by the way. So they thought this was the future. This is what it looked like, right?
Before I was born.
Me too. This is the only game I have that's older than me. But this is what they thought the future looked like, Adam.
Yeah. All curvy and black and white.
Yeah, curvy and black and white. And then the buttons here, we have fire, missile, thrust, rotate left, rotate right. And which basically became like the asteroids controls, right?
Yeah.
And the quarters here, start game. So one of these buttons, the seller told me this, like the spring, it lost its spring action there. I think we can fix that.
Sure.
There's a guy, what's his name? There's a pinball guy up in Canada that has a lot of new old stock parts, and he sells the tubes for it's John's Jukes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like flippers.com or something. Yep. And so he's really into computer space, and he's got a lot of new old stock parts and stuff. Yep. So, all right, let's open this thing up. We have to see what's going on in here. So the back is all plywood.
Is this just open, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Oh, there's a priority mailbox in here.
PCB? Oh man.
What else is in here? I know that Wesley told me that he was sending me some like some surprises. So there's another box in here. So what kind of goodies do we get?
This isn't how you smuggle heroin up these coasts.
You smuggle heroin, yeah.
In arcade.
Right, this is like 3 pounds of hashish.
I can't go back to jail.
You can't go back to jail?
No.
So what do you throw in here?
Want to open this?
So this is a Dreamcade? What the heck is that? What's Dreamcade? Wow. So he threw all kinds of goodies in here. So this board here, I have no idea what this is.
It's JAMA, right?
Is it JAMA?
Yeah, that's a JAMA headout. But it's got a FPGA in there.
It does?
Or that's a CPLD. Yeah. So that's like an FPGA.
And there's some kind of connectors here.
Is that the Dreamcade thing? This looks like
Dreamcast?
This looks like the guts to a yeah, I wonder if that's what it is. Is this like a Dreamcast
Dreamcast to JAMA?
But a JAMA, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I wonder if that's what it is.
Let's see, there's another board here.
These look like yeah, because these would go into the Dreamcast, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of logic to just be able to control. You know what I mean? That's like an insane amount.
So that would plug into controllers?
This is a speech chip right here, this WinBond. They make speech chips. You could actually like record messages and stuff like that.
So you think this plugs in the controllers and then the JAMA transfers the controls to the controllers?
What I'm saying is this seems like way too much logic just for that. So there's got to be something else going on.
That plugs into the video maybe?
Yeah, okay. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's for audio or something. So it does everything, audio, video, and the interface to the Dreamcast.
I have no idea. And then he also included this here, which I'm guessing is maybe a Dreamcast game. It is.
Makes you wonder what's in here.
Yeah, he's football and Ready to Rumble for the Dreamcast. So if I get a Dreamcast, I could, in theory, turn it into a JAMA.
Yeah, stick it into a JAMA cab or something.
All right, that's kind of cool. That'd be kind of fun, actually.
And then what's in here?
I think that is a... he told me it was like some kind of buggy game, because he thought Jump Bug was this game, and it's not. It's like some kind of dune buggy game or something, he told me. It's a big board.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
Well, Wesley, thanks.
Oh yeah, it's a speed buggy?
Speed buggy? What game is that?
Get myself careful here.
I'm not familiar with that, are you?
No. Who made it though?
I don't know.
Like manufacturer logo on it. Oh, who's that down there?
NEC.
Yeah.
Weird. Well, thanks, Wesley. Oh my God.
That's insanity.
Holy cow! Have fun debugging that game.
I thought pole position was bad. And it's a three board stack. Oh
wow.
Man.
All right, so we're not here to talk about this stuff, Adam.
I'm like distracted by the ridiculousness.
All right, let's look at what's going on inside here. Okay, so we have a serial tag. It says Nutting Associates. This is model 720, serial number 102999. And if you research this, these serial numbers have no meaning or logic. Okay. I mean, they're not like an order or anything. Like a low number doesn't necessarily mean an early number. Right. There's actually a website called Comptuer Space Fan that I've been on like nonstop since I made this deal, and a lot of good reading. And so he has all the serial numbers listed. This game's actually on his site and in the database because the guy that got this posted on Claw.
Registered it or whatever in the database.
Yeah. Okay. So here's our monitor. This is that GE Adventurer 2, and yes, it's a vacuum form tube, but it also has like tubes. Oh, dude, look at the flyback cup.
Curl on it.
Oh wow. But we have like literally vacuum tubes that you would find in an old radio or guitar amp. Yeah. And lots of them too, by the way. So I'm probably gonna replace all those tubes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You can't just.
Dude, look at this socket, man. It's all.
Yeah, I don't know.
The legs are coming out of that, dude.
They're not like caps where you can just.
I'm gonna replace these tubes, dude. Why are you laughing?
They're so hard to come by.
No.
I mean, if they're working, don't.
Just remember, I used to collect guitar amps and stuff.
I know, but
tubes are not. They're out there.
Okay.
What? But this one here, the pins on the tube itself are out of the socket.
Yeah.
So obviously that's an issue.
Make it drop down or something.
So I'm going to replace all these tubes. I know that Juke guy, John's Jukes, he sells some of these tubes. Yeah. And I'll go on eBay and see what I can find. But look at that, dude. Yeah. So this was like pre-transistor, right? They use vacuum tubes to control the gates or whatever, the yes-no logic. Yeah. But this TV doesn't look too good, to be honest. Look at the flyback, dude. That does not. The cup. Yeah. That does not look good. Is this even a flyback? I mean, what is this?
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be the flyback would be what down there, where it's hooked up to.
Oh, right down there. There's the flyback right there. I think that little, see that little squat thing? Yeah. In there. All right, so that's the TV. That doesn't look too good. What was cool about what they did back in the day? Look at the coin boxes. It's like an old gas can. It's like a gas can, dude. Are you serious? Pull that out.
How do you pull it out?
Maybe pull it up. It's literally a gas can, dude. And they took the lid off of it.
I'm not sure how to pull this out. Here, I'll let you do it. I'll let you break it.
Maybe not. Maybe we should just leave this right here. But it's a gas can, dude. Yeah. Look at that.
That's crazy. Wow.
And then over here is the power supply. This right here. And they put a fan on it because it was running hot.
They, meaning this is a modern
This
fan,
is original.
Obviously.
No.
Are you serious?
Yes, they put fans on this from the factory, dude.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It looks modern, right?
Yeah,
it's not.
It looks like a PC fan.
No, maybe it was replaced at some point, but they had a fan here from day one. Okay? Yeah. So I don't know how old this fan is. Do you think this is not original?
No, I don't think that's original.
How do you know? By the font? I mean...
Yeah, everything about it just screams it's like a PC fan. I don't know. I don't even know if they had brushless fans back in the 70s.
Okay. So, well, it had a fan, so maybe it was someone replaced it at some point. Right. The one that was in here died. Right. This is the power supply. I'm not rebuilding it. I'm not touching it. Yeah. I'm just going to figure out, where the 5-volt goes, and I'm going to tap into it with a modern one. And then here's our transformer. This right here is this our on-off switch? What is this?
Yep. There's a switch in the back.
Okay. So that's our power switch. Here's a coin counter. Yep.
29,081.
Okay, so how much money did this game make? So divide that by 4, right? So about $6,000. $6,000.
That's 6 times 4, 24. A little more than that, right?
Right?
Yeah.
6,000, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So this game made $6,000. Yep. That's not bad.
Yeah.
And then here's the board stack. So I do know that some of the chips have corrosion on them, like right here. Mm-hmm. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's in here.
So we'll have to pull those chips off and clean the legs. And who knows, there might even be continuity. It might not be affecting anything. But the boards don't have too much on them. Here's that diode thing I was talking about. Oh, that's the shape of the sprite. You see that?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
That's weird.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but they lined up the diodes in a way to match the shape of the ship, right? So that's the nose of the ship. And that's the tail of it, and it's different rotations, I think.
I think it would jump out to me more if I actually saw the game.
Right.
Like a screenshot of it playing or something.
Like this might be the missile right here. I don't know. Isn't that cool?
It looks like it's a 3-board stack.
It's a 3-board stack.
Yeah. And then over here it's got...
Oh yeah, those are the dip switch settings, because you can actually put it in a test pattern.
Okay.
And then I guess the settings are extended play, yes or no. This is actually a timed game.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is timed adjustment right there.
Right. You don't have like a number of lives. You could play for so long. Oh, okay. And I believe, I'm not positive, if you get a certain score, the game will extend.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not a really good playable game.
Right.
This is an historical artifact.
Right.
I mean, I'm almost not worthy of this. This is so awesome. It's actually really clean. Dude, the condition's not bad at all.
Yeah, where'd this come from? Down south somewhere?
Well, the story is that this guy Wesley discovered a trailer that an operator had, and he put all his games in there, and this stuff was in storage for 30 years. Something like that, right?
Wow.
And he wrote me a big email explaining the history of this game, but basically some real big-time old-timer bought this game. And some other old-timer bought it and then stored it. But in general, I'm pretty happy with the shape of it. I think it's going to clean up great.
Yeah, it looks slick.
It looks totally slick, dude. The TV has me a little worried. I have to admit.
A simulated space battle that pits computer-guided saucers against a rocket ship that you control.
And that little instruction card obviously is supposed to be covering the controls for the TV that are down there. Man, I wonder, how does this even come off?
I have no idea. How do you even get access to it?
Yeah.
You'd have to pull the tube, I think.
And you've got some cigarette burns here. That's kind of expected.
Yeah, and right here.
And right down there. I mean, what a stupid design, really. This little valley.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to put their butt right there.
Right? There's a little
Yeah.
You can just put them in. I'm surprised they're back there.
So you can see Nutting Associates, Mountain View, California. Then over here, Syzygy Engineered. And that was the company that Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney started.
Okay.
And they wanted to make this game, and they approached Nutting
Manufacture for them?
to manufacture it for them. So they partnered with them.
Okay.
And then Nutting ended up making a 2-player one, I think without their help.
Okay.
And then Ted, Dabney, and Nolan said, you know what, why don't we start our own company instead of going through someone else? And then they renamed their company ATARI.
Sorry.
And then they did Pong, right? And the rest is history.
Right.
But this was their first attempt at a video game, and it just didn't really catch on, I think. It was too, I think it was just too nerdy for the general population.
Think so?
You know? I think so, don't you?
Sci-fi?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Pong.
For the 70s, I mean.
What? I mean, everyone can relate to Pong, right? You just kind of get it in a second. This is maybe a little more intimidating. I don't know.
So what is the working status of this that you know?
Do you want to plug it in?
I'm curious. I mean,
Do you want it?
Yeah.
All right, let's plug it in. Well, I know the power supply's dead.
Oh, it is.
Well, I'm assuming. I think Wesley told me that it was, so. All right, let's plug this thing in. You have a fire extinguisher handy? Is the cord pretty bad? So we're putting a new plug end on the...
Yeah, I don't trust that other one, man.
Looked a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had one on hand. And by the way, we redid the math on the coin counter. We were
like $1,000 off?
Yeah.
I'm looking at like 29. I think it's $6,000.
It made like 7,000 and some change.
Yeah.
I wonder how much this game cost, like, back in the day. What do you think?
Google it.
Well, you should Google it.
You should be able to figure that out, right?
So this is one of those new little plugs.
It couldn't have been that much, because
A couple grand maybe, right?
if that, I mean, it was a new thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
people were taking a risk putting these in their establishments. They're like, what the heck is this thing, you know?
Right.
And so trying to convince them that no, you'll actually make some decent money. Once the whole arcade scene took off, then people were charging thousands of dollars for machines. But I'd be curious to see how much it was for originally.
All right, we're going to keep going here. Okay, so Adam's got the new 3-prong plug on. So now we're a little more safety compliant. I noticed on the back door, Adam,
Yep.
did you see what it says? Look back here. On the top.
Power
It says power supply.
supply. Okay.
Did someone think at some point that that's what was wrong with this?
Oh, I don't know.
Huh?
Written with Sharpie.
And look at this. Here's the speaker hole. They moved the speaker from the TV to the back here.
Oh, look at that.
Isn't that funny?
So these go what, all the way through? Oh yeah, look at that. They go. All
It goes right to the TV.
Oh wow.
Isn't it weird that they put the speaker on the back?
Yeah, it is. Cause I wonder if they'd be able to hear it.
I know.
Huh.
Interesting.
I think they'd want to send it out the front. I don't know. This is the first one, you know, that they ever did. So.
All right, so we're gonna plug it in. We have no idea what's gonna happen here.
Okay.
I suspect not much, but
Oh, actually, there is an
interlock.
interlock right here. So we probably have to. I don't think you can pull this, right?
Yeah.
You can't. So we're gonna have to close the door. Lift it up a little bit. But look at the.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the early ones,
Yeah.
the back doors were hand cut, and you could see that it was.
like hand cut. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
You could see the jigsaw they used or whatever. The guy had a little. I mean, he was drinking the night before. It's cool how the plywood kind of like melds into the fiberglass.
Yeah, you can see the
Yep.
the resin and the fibers.
That's so cool, dude.
Are you ready?
All right,
Something's.
it's making noise.
Now this is gonna have to warm up. Obviously, it's gonna take a while for this
Right.
to come on, right?
Oh, dude, look at the control panel.
Man, that's sick.
That's some space age stuff.
I And they got a couple of bulbs that they installed that would probably sit behind.
Oh, look at the TV, dude.
It's on.
So we've got raster. That's probably a good sign.
Yeah, it is.
Do you think it plays blind or something? Should we drop a quarter in it?
That's the only way to get it going, right? Oh, wait here. Rejected.
Oh, it doesn't take quarters made after 1975?
Yeah, I think it. No. Oh, it's still. Oh. And a quarter's a quarter, right? The same
I don't know.
size,
Do you think?
Yeah, they haven't changed the size of quarters or anything.
This is a 1994 quarter.
Huh.
I love how this is all lit up. Dude, this thing is sick.
Well, you can't open it up to look at it. You have to, well, unless you hold the interlock switch, but. Yeah, there's got to be something we can do here, right?
And am I just like looking at it? It's so awesome.
Hold on, I'm going to open it up.
So maybe we could hold the interlock in and coin it up somehow?
Yeah, just need a light to figure out. Oh, actually, it's staying on.
Oh, it's on?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know.
Oh, maybe when you open the back door, it stays on? No, that doesn't make any sense.
Switch. No, there's no switch there.
All right, so coin it up. See the... Yeah.
This is the switch right here.
Nothing.
Nothing.
The meter's not moving or anything.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Some of the stuff has been worked on over the years. You can see it's like no.
Oh, that's right. Wesley was telling me that this was bypassed, the interlock.
Oh, okay.
He noticed that it was bypassed somehow. Maybe right there.
Mm.
It's kind of a little sketchy right there.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch that. So the tubes are all lit. You can see the vacuum tubes glowing.
And the neck glow.
So that one's not glowing. Or if it is, I can't really tell.
But still, I mean, even without this, if this was working, you would, like you said, you would expect a coin counter to at least.
Right. But it's my understanding that this power supply is just dead.
Okay.
And so we'll do that in an upcoming video. I'll get a new power supply. I mean, we've got a couple fuses down there.
Yeah.
I mean, should we test those? Mm. Yeah, why don't we unplug it and test them real quick?
Cool.
Let me grab my multimeter. All right, so we're going to unplug it and just see if it's just a fuse. That's good.
Nah.
Fuses are good.
Fuses are good.
We could see, and we could try to figure out where the 5 volts comes in.
Yeah, what generates it? I mean, is your transformer?
Well, here, this is the power supply right here. See, it says on the top, it says 5 volts, 3 amps.
Yeah.
So where does it come out?
Probably here. I don't know. Let's follow it down.
So there's a transformer down.
It's a drop-down transformer, and then it goes through that.
So is this our 5 volts right here?
I think so. Let me see.
It's got to be. Those are only 2 leads coming out.
Yeah, I think so. The rest of these are controls. This comes all the way from, what is that? It comes from here.
So the AC, it's dumping whatever in here, and then this is dropping it down to something, and then converting it to DC, and it's coming out here.
Right.
It's got to be what it is.
Yeah, I think so. So if you put your leads on there, put it on DC, stick it right there.
Okay.
See if you get your 5 volts.
Let's try that. Let's plug it in. And could you please hold this?
Yeah, and I think this switch is actually for, I think it comes from the transformer, hits the switch, and then from the switch to the power supply.
Okay.
So let me flick this on. Oh, actually it is on.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
All right, so let's just see if we get anything. I'm assuming red to red and black to white.
You got 0.8 volts.
0.8 volts. And we could probably...
Do that again real quick. I'm just curious. Yep, okay, yeah.
So 0.8 DC.
Yeah.
And we can test the voltages going into it, right? The AC.
Mm-hmm.
So
both leads of the transformer. So one there and one there.
the 2 outside ones?
Yeah.
You have it on AC?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you have?
That's 6 volts AC.
6 volts AC.
Yeah.
So that's probably good, right?
Yeah. Because then it would probably there's probably just a filter after that drops it to
5.
Yeah, to 5. I mean, that turns. From
So
AC
we got
to
volts
DC.
going in and nothing coming out. So the power supply is hosed.
Yeah.
There is a pot here to adjust the voltage.
I think the assumption is we'd be getting close to 5, and then we could tweak it to get at 5, though.
Yeah. So do you think that the red is positive and the white's negative?
Even if you were to reverse it, it would be -5 instead of 5, right? If you had it backwards. So, but yeah, I think that's probably what it is.
Right. So if I go like this, we'd have -0.8.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We'll see that.
Yep. So that's positive.
Yep.
So when I get my switching power supply, all I gotta do is just hook these guys up, and that's it. And then we'll have 5 volts to the board. It sure would be great if this thing played blind.
You're gonna leave all this here?
I am,
for
yeah.
Nostalgic reasons?
Yes, I'm gonna probably screw a power supply here or here, somewhere. I've seen photos of people online, that's what they do. They leave all this here, disconnect this, and then put theirs here. I probably should disconnect the AC going to it so it's not running, right?
Right.
So, yeah. This is a project, man. What do you think, Adam? I think we can do this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing it no matter what.
I've never worked on a game that hasn't had a CPU, so...
I'm in. I have no choice.
Yeah, you're in. You're committed.
I'm committed to this. So the TV scares me for some reason more than the PCB.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many moving parts and...
It's just such old...
It's so ugly. But I think I need to start with the tubes. I don't know. And like this tube here. So we have high voltage, but that cup is scary.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere near that.
Do you have an old chassis that you could get a cup off of, though? An old whatever?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just take an old flyback, right, and cut the anode cup off and replace it.
Yeah.
It's just a single wire, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is pretty awesome. So anyway, what do you think, Adam? Anything else we should do, or?
Man, I don't know. I was really hoping it would fire up.
You did?
No, I mean,
I mean, we have signs of life.
You're really going to have to do a lot to the TV. I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know. I mean, it's the fact that it's on.
Yeah.
You can see that it's trying to draw an image.
Right.
I think you're in so much better shape than you
I think.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what that does once you get 5 volts to it.
I have a power supply. On the you want to hook it up?
Kinda.
There's one on the shelf behind you.
Is there really?
Yeah.
This thing here?
Yeah, you want to hook it up?
Kinda.
All right, let's hook it up.
If I wasn't here, would you be doing any of this stuff?
Right now?
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. I probably would save it for the weekend, but that's okay. Let's do it. All right, so let's get set up and hook up the power supply. What the heck? Okay, so we disconnected these 2 wires here from the power supply, and those are the ones we assume are 5 volts.
Right.
And to double check, Adam did a continuity test, putting it on the red wire, and then he came over here on one of the legs on one of these chips, and we're getting continuity. Oops. Go ahead. So it's beeping, so that's 5 volts.
Yep. And then grab.
Because that 5 volt wire is dumping 5 volts onto that trace that leg's on.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So we know that's where we're going to wire it into.
Yep.
Very smart, Adam.
I don't know.
What?
I didn't want to break it.
Okay, so we're just kind of temporarily just kind of hooking up this power supply, and we used alligator clips to tap into the switch, basically, right?
Very temporary.
Very temporary. And right now we're going to make sure we have 5 volts. The light is yellow, which probably
means it's low, right?
Yeah.
So is that, okay, so what is this, like a Peter Cho or whatever that tells you exactly what it is?
I think so.
So green means we're good?
I think so.
Cool, all right, I'm just going to double check.
So we're going to double check our voltages before we hook it up to the logic board.
So ground and 5 volts, and we're at 5.06.
Okay, good. Perfect.
So let's turn this off. That should go off.
Power supply's off.
And then we'll hook up 5 volts.
And then we disconnected the wires that came out of the power supply, and now we're going to connect them to our new power supply.
Are you excited, John?
I am excited. Boy, it'd be pretty amazing if we got this thing to play. Just even do anything.
Yeah. Here's some
computer space sounds.
out of our hi-fi speaker.
You know, I've been coming in and out of the garage, and every time I come in here, I'm like, wow. Like, I can't believe this thing is in my garage. It is so sick. Let's just look at it again. Ugh. It is so unlike anything else.
Yeah.
It's so unique.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
All right, so we got it hooked up.
Just to make sure.
What?
I don't want to break this thing. No, you're good. All right, here we go. That's on.
Yep.
TV's not on.
TV's not on. Can we just blow a fuse?
Interesting.
How about... Why is the TV not on?
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't disconnect anything TV related. The only thing we did was disconnect the 5 volts of the game board. Oh, is it something with this here or no?
There it goes.
It is.
So the interlock's a little flaky.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you want to reach in there and try coining it up?
Sure.
What is that? What does the image look like on the screen? Anything?
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's what we saw before, right?
Yeah.
Just white madness.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna come in here. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh. All right, so the counter's firing.
Yeah.
That's exciting. All right. Here we go. Nothing.
No.
Do we want to test the voltages at the board? Just for the heck of it?
We need somebody to hold on to this interlock switch.
Well, do we though? Because interlock seems to be only killing the TV.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And actually, it's stuck on now.
There you go.
Yeah, let's take a peek. So DC. All right. So how are we looking?
2.9.
Ooh, interesting. That's interesting. Still
4.6.
Okay, so that the other one that I grabbed was probably not a TTL part. But still, it's a little low. I don't
Should we turn it up a little
know. You
bit?
can. I think it's enough to drive TTL.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. This guy here, 2.9. That's the one that. Okay, that's different. I think this is the pinout for this. Let's try this one here. Yeah, I mean they're all the same.
4.6.
Yeah.
So is it worth turning up or no? You think not?
No, you can turn it up a smidge. I don't think it'll do anything, but
It's red right now, just so you know.
it is.
Yeah.
Put it on the threshold there.
4.8.
4.8. Yeah. 4.9. Yeah, I mean.
That's probably good
it
enough.
should run, absolutely, yeah. So there's something else going on. It's hard too because
You can pull it out a little bit.
you don't know how bad the monitor is. There actually could be something on the screen, you know what I mean? You wouldn't know.
True.
So.
And the monitor is driving the audio too.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So the audio amp could be bad and it could be playing blind
Right.
for all we know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you got yourself a nice project, pal. Yeah.
It's okay. It's going to be fun to figure out.
Because it's not like you don't have other things going on.
No, I don't have any other projects at all. I think this is going to be really fun to figure out.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool.
I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple,
It's
really.
not like anything that you've ever had, so.
I mean, the problem could be this edge connector thing on the bottom,
Yeah.
right? We could reseat the boards. I don't know.
Yeah.
How about the interlocks? It could be even in a test mode right now. I mean, the dip switches.
Test pattern is on.
It's on. Oh.
Extended play, that doesn't matter.
So it was in test mode, dude. So of course it's not going to play.
Well, we'll try it. We're playing it up again.
Yeah.
Do we have to? Well, I guess I don't know. Like
What?
I said, do you have to like reset the board or something when you get it in and out of these modes?
Do you want to?
Yeah, let's try it. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Pointing up. Come on, brother.
It actually killed the lights too. Okay. So it was in test mode, so it wouldn't start. Is there a volume?
Boy, where would it be?
On the monitor, right here. Is that the volume?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I bet you that's
buddy.
the volume. Oh, here, look at sound loudness. Oh, this is vertical hold. Oh, that's horizontal
it's in
hold.
the front of this. It's in the front of the screen.
Oh.
You have to what? Reach in under there? Oh no, you can. It's totally open. You can stick your hand in there. So, sound loudness is all the way
To the right.
To the right. I can feel a few switches here. So it's all the way off, actually.
It is?
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell. Well, we don't hear anything, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
The game could be over, though.
Yeah. Should I coin it up again? Yeah, I'll put it. Well, I'll just put it in the middle,
Okay.
and which is right about.
And that's the far right one, right?
Yes.
Because the two next to it are brightness and contrast.
My hand, right?
Yeah.
So this one right here.
That says, yeah, volume.
Yep.
What if it's not in the right channel? You think it matters what channel it's on?
I don't think so. I think they bypass all that.
Yeah, they did. I think they tapped into the video. All right. Pew pew. All right. Well, you know what? I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think that's as far as we can go.
I think that's the end of this video. This is, I guess, part number 1 of the Comptuer Space saga restoration. I don't know what this is, but this is going to be a fun project. I'm really into this. This is kind of a priority right now.
Sexy.
It is a sexy mofo. I can't wait to buff that yellow. That thing's going to sing. But at least we have some signs of life, you know. The board's doesn't seem to be working at all, though. Anyway, pretty awesome. Well, Adam, thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. That was fun.
You rule, bro.
Awesome.
So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this part here. And let's go back down to the basement. Pretty awesome. Look at that thing. All right, guys, let's go. All right, guys, there you have it. The Comptuer Space is in the garage. So what did you guys think of that? Pretty awesome, right? I'm very much besides myself. I cannot believe we have that game. And Adam, buddy, thanks for hanging out with me today. So anyway, here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna do a couple interviews. Now, the first interview is gonna be with Ed Freeze. Now, Ed Freeze is a super cool dude who used to work for Microsoft. He was one of the first Excel programmers. He was on the Microsoft game publishing side of things and helped launch Xbox. Really a crazy, awesome guy that's done some really cool stuff. So I'll let him tell you all about that. So anyway, Ed picked up a Comptuer Space, and we're gonna talk to him right now about his Comptuer Space and all the things he went through to get the thing working, and hopefully he'll give me some advice as we go forward here trying to fix my Comptuer Space. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk to Ed Freeze about his Comptuer Space. All right, guys, I'm pretty excited. I have Ed Freeze here, and if you guys don't know who Ed Freeze is, Ed, tell us, what are you known for? You've done a lot of serious stuff, right?
I've done a few things.
A few things.
I'm getting old, so got plenty of time. No, I started at Microsoft in the mid-'80s, and I was one of 7 people who did the first version of Excel for Windows.
Awesome.
So I worked on Excel for 5 years, worked on Word for 5 more years. But before that, back when I was in high school and into college, I was writing video games for the Atari 800. So
I have an 800 XL down here.
Oh, yeah. So I worked for a little company called Romox.
Okay.
And so for the obscure cartridge collectors, look for Romox games, ROMOX.
Really? Which games?
So I made 3 games for that company. The first was called Princess and Frog, which was a Frogger clone. We could talk about that if you want.
Nice.
And then I did a game called Anteater. And then the third game I did was called Sea Chase.
Sea Chase. Now,
Anteater. And then I know people always think they know Anteater.
The arcade game, right?
But there's an arcade game that's different than what I made. So.
Oh, awesome.
So it was a little company in California, and anyway, you can find the cards always sell for a lot of money because there's so few of them.
You know, I probably pirated your software when I was about 12 years old.
Oh, yeah, I was pirating everyone else's at that time, so I understand.
We had a Where's BBS. My buddy my buddy had a phone line in his bedroom, and it was like that was like crazy talk back then. You know, to have a phone line in a kid's bedroom.
a guy a guy I only sort of knew found out I was a programmer, and he used to bring me games to crack.
Yeah,
you know,
really?
because I could do assembly. Yeah, so he would bring me
What
these
was your?
games.
Did it say like cracked by? What was your?
No. I never did the pirate.
You didn't
thing.
do that?
No.
All right, so that's awesome. So you did the 800 XL stuff, and then you went on the Xbox, right? Xbox team.
Well, before that, so I left from Office to run Microsoft's game business, and that was well before Xbox. So came out with a game called Age of Empires that people know. A bunch of different PC games, and kind of built the group up from 50 or 60 people up to 400 or 500, doing a lot of different games, working with Chris Roberts and Chris Taylor and Jordan Weissman. Bought a company called FASA, or FASA as they say in Chicago. Anyway, built up the video game business, the PC game business for Microsoft, and then we launched Xbox, and so my group did all the games for Xbox.
Awesome. That's great.
But yeah, so I was always a game player, game guy, and so once I could get off Office and do games, that was.
Then I bought one of your 2600 cartridges you made.
I did. So,
you made Halo 2600, right?
So I did. I made a game called Halo 2600. I have a new 2600 game that people keep pestering me to finish, which is Rally X for the 2600.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because
port?
Nobody's ever done the arcade port of Rally X, and so doing it in 4K is a real challenge. And you can find it on Atari Age if you look. You can find the work in progress version of it.
Sweet. Well, that's great. So obviously you've had a big gaming past, and I see you're a collector of arcade games and pinball machines, right?
I've got a few.
You've got a few. And so the reason I wanted to have you on here was I saw your blog post because you went into detail about your journey to restore and fix this computer space, right? And it was crazy timing because when I saw your blog post, I was in the middle of getting mine, right? I'm like, are you kidding me? And of course, I mean, I kind of know you because you were on our podcast a long time ago when you were doing figure prints. Right. And I'm like, I got to reach out to him because this is just too much of a coincidence. And I had your email still. And so here you are. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about your journey, fixing this thing. And also maybe you can give me some tips because I'm embarking on mine. I just got it. I haven't done a thing to it, you know?
Absolutely.
And it's some old-ass technology, and it's totally different than any game I've worked on. The TV scares the living heck out of me. I mean, just tell me how you got this. Why did you get this? I mean, by the way, we were talking before. You and I are like 10% of the people that own the yellow computer spaces right here, right? Us two. There's like between 10 and 20 of these, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's somewhere between 10 and 20 that we know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people should read the blog. It's better than I can explain it, but
it's very good. It's very detailed. What's the URL, by the way? And I'll post the link in the notes too.
Yeah, it's just edfreeze.wordpress.com. I'm totally not a blogger, so right. I'm like, what's a blog site? WordPress, and then you'll see there's one entry, which is this.
Oh, is that right? So you just made that blog just for this?
It's the only, because I mean, I originally wrote it in Word, and it looked terrible because all the pictures were cut across pages. I'm like, I can't put it out this way. I want, so I just dumped it up there in WordPress. You know, I mean, anyone who looks into the history of the game business, ends up at the same place, right? You come back to Comptuer Space. I mean, it was the first computer arcade game, the first video arcade game, I should say, commercial video arcade game. You have to put enough things, or people will argue with you, right?
Well, I read it's technically the first video game because he beat Ralph Baer, right? Didn't he, to the punch? Because we read that the other night on some Wikipedia entry or something.
Yeah, I don't know that because there was a question about whether the Magnavox Odyssey came out first to market or this came out first, and I honestly don't know that. Yeah. I've got an Odyssey here too. I got one sitting over there, but that one I also had to fix, but mostly just messing around with a little bit. If you're gonna have a small set of arcade machines, boy, why not try to get the first one? The first one there ever was.
To this, right?
Exactly.
And so when you bought it on eBay, right?
Yeah. So I started looking about a year ago, and one came up about 6 months ago. It was red. It was beautiful. It was working, but I waited to bid till the end. I was going to bid late.
Right.
and then it just went off. It disappeared before it even came up.
Oh, really?
So somebody cut a private deal, which happens, right? So then I'm like, oh man, I missed my chance. 4 or 5 months later, this one shows up, and it had a buy it now price, and it was yellow, and I was just like, I gotta have this thing. And just boom, yeah, I'm not gonna let someone steal this thing. So yeah, I bought it and had it shipped up from Florida, and the eBay article said bad monitor, probably just needs a few tubes.
Right.
It turned out to be a lot more than that, but as you can read in the blog. But so it showed up. It was pretty beat up. I mean, actually, just from the being in the climate down there, I think it's very rusty.
Oh, it is.
Everything was rusty, and the TV in particular was super rusty. I mean, just when I started to touch it to work on it, things were crumbling in my hands, and that's when I knew I knew I was in for a challenge.
So was everything just so brittle, and like the wiring and the metal, everything was just disintegrating?
Yeah. So there's I talk in the story about how my dad used to fix TVs put himself through college fixing TVs. So I had him come over because it's a tube TV. That's what he used to fix, right? Yeah. And he shows up with his tube tester and all that. And he's like, this TV's too new for me. I'm like, what do you mean? I fixed these in like the 50s.
Why, right?
This is a 1970 TV. It's these tubes have way too many pins on them. But he figured out that there's a high voltage rectifier just before the power goes into the scary part of the monitor that everyone says is going to kill you. It's going to zap you. There's like a plastic bracket that holds that tube.
Yes.
And that thing gets old and fragile.
That's
and you'll
exactly what's on mine right now. There's like a space between the vacuum tube and the thing that goes on the top, and I could see I could see that it's not making complete contact with that.
Yeah, so that piece is really crumbly, and that connects right into the flyback.
Right.
And also when I touched it, the wire came right out of the flyback. I mean, it just like snapped out of there. Crumbled out of there is a better word.
Right.
So anyway, from the story, I had also bought a replacement, a similar but not the same TV on eBay because the eBay ad said it had a bad monitor. I bought another TV on eBay thinking I could swap them out. Well, the new TV shows up and it's a 12-inch, not a 15-inch, which I need, which I could have figured out if I knew what I was doing. And it's also a newer model. It turns out it's the TV that's used in the 2-player computer space, not the 1-player. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there's some stuff online about it because there's some 2-player computer space people, but not a lot. And so, and also I should mention it broke in shipping, right?
Oh man.
So, and what broke on it was the picture tube snapped right off. Yeah, the neck of the picture tube. So I had this broken TV that came with it, and I had this other broken TV. I had a broken TV with a bad motherboard, and then I had this other TV with a broken picture tube. And I'm like, God, what am I going to do? Maybe I could connect this motherboard to this picture tube, which it was crazy talk, right? I mean, I have no idea, right, what I'm doing, but I'm like, the wires are the same color, and it looks the same. It was the next generation of that TV. It wasn't totally crazy. You could see similarities.
Yeah.
So I just, I had no other way to get a TV that was working, so I just started snipping wires, and
and swapped.
A couple hours to disconnect it and swap them and hook them back up. And so I did all that, and it lit up, the picture tube lit up, and there was just static, And I had hooked it up to the computer space machine, so I was hoping I'd see computer space, right? But no luck. So I just see garbage.
Was that because the tuner wasn't bypassed?
No, I had done that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Let's at the very end. I'm going to tell you more about that.
Okay.
I don't want to go. There's something there I don't want to go into right now. But
okay.
All right. So anyway, what was I talking about? So the computer just gets. So I do this crazy thing of taking the motherboard from one TV, hook it to the picture tube of another. I have no idea if it's going to work, and it just comes up static. And I'm like, God, why did I even think this is going to work? But I had no other thing to try.
Right.
And so then over the next few days, I spend a few hours with it each day, and I'm just messing with like the horizontal and vertical hold, and I get it to show this weird pattern, kind of this big checkerboard pattern.
Was that a test screen from the PCB?
No,
because it was so perfect, that pattern.
I know, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I sent it to Seamus Blackley because he's repaired some, and I sent it to some other people, and they're like, I don't know what that is, and I sent it to my dad. My dad's like, oh, it looks promising,
right.
But it didn't look like Comptuer Space. And then just one day I came in and I'm like, well, maybe the TV's working, but the Comptuer Space isn't working. And so then I just pushed on the top of the 3 boards, and all of a sudden, bink, Comptuer Space came up, and it turned out the TV was working.
So at that point, though, you'd already replaced the power supply, right?
No, this is before the power supply.
Oh, that's with the original power supply.
With the original power supply.
So just the little fingers, the like little edge connectors on the bottom. You basically reset that in a way, right? By pushing? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So, hey, I had video. This is exciting.
Right.
But then I started to notice all the things that weren't on the video, like the little saucers. You can see the saucers are sitting still. There they go. They're moving around. They move around. Like, where are my saucers?
Right.
And and then I start, put in a quarter and start the game, and the timer goes up to 100 in about a second, and then just the ship looked wrong. There was just a million different random things that were wrong, but it was like, okay, progress.
Right. Definitely.
So next step, like you say, was power supply. And if you're going to work on yours, first thing you should do is check your power supply.
Yeah, I already replaced it.
Oh, you did? Oh, you're cruising. Did you follow my instructions for buying a new one off eBay?
No, I didn't.
Instead of from the guy who wants $800 for one?
No, not from that flipper dude. But no, I had a switching power supply in the garage, and we just hooked it up to see if something would happen. And so we had 5 volts at the board, but the game wasn't playing blind or anything. I just had a white screen. So I don't know what's going on. But we'll get to that later.
Okay. So anyway, I also, as you know from the story, put in a little switcher power supply. Maybe didn't make the best choice on one, but anyway, put one in, had a solid 5 volts, and then I just started diving into the boards trying to fix the problems. And I basically just started with a logic probe and the schematics, which you can find online.
Right.
And, I was probably as intimidated by that as anybody would be, but you just kind of spend time poking around and looking at it and figuring out, well, this chip is here in the schematic, and I talk about it in the blog. I just kind of methodically went through. I wasn't in a hurry, and so
right.
Spend an hour or 2 a day doing it.
You fixed it pretty quick though, because you got the game in December, right?
Yeah, and it was up. It was done by end of February, so I don't know if that's quick.
In my book, it is.
Okay, good. I would try to put in an hour around lunchtime, and then because then if I had to go visit my favorite electronics store, Vetco, which I talk about in
right.
I could go out, pick up a chip, get some lunch, and bring it back. But I had to learn a lot of skills. I mean. I was lucky. The first thing I fixed was the saucers, and I got pretty lucky on that because there was something on the schematic that said saucer enable.
Right.
It gave me a pretty good idea.
Yes, let's enable it.
Yes. Once I found out where to look, poked around with my logic probe until I found a chip that clearly wasn't working, and then I had to learn how to desolder and solder a chip. I had soldered stuff as a kid because my dad is an electrical engineer. But I'd never desoldered a 14-pin chip before, and I had the little plunger solder sucker, and that was a nightmare.
Really? I used those forever.
Yeah, you're a better man than me,
huh?
Man. So you're a better man than me. I mean,
I just upgraded to the Hacko, which you did eventually, right?
Right. Well, as you know from the story, I didn't know the first thing that I should do, which is to clip off the pins on the old chip, which really helped. So I had the whole chip there, and I was trying to get all the pins desoldered enough that I could pull the whole chip out at once. So you got to have 14 pins all perfect.
And if you have a little piece of solder on there, it just will not come off. Yeah,
exactly.
A buddy showed me that a long time ago. Who's an engineer? He's like, no, just cut all the pins off.
Exactly.
You're not going to keep this chip. Just throw. Who cares?
I tell that in the story when my older brother, who's an electrical engineer, it's like dumb shit. It's like just cut the pins off.
I did that too in the beginning, so it's all right.
so that really helps actually. And then the first one I did do with the old solder sucker with the one like you showed, the plunger type.
Yeah.
But then I read in Retro magazine about that Hakko FR 300 I think it's called.
This guy right here.
That puppy is so sweet.
Yeah, it is.
that just saved my life. So for the other 9 chips or whatever I ended up doing, that was great. Yeah, I mean, the first chip I think took me 3 hours, and by the end I could do one in under 5 minutes. I was just like,
wait, the first chip took you how long? Did you say
3 hours?
Oh my!
I know, I was bad at it. I was bad, but that's part of the fun, I guess.
Yeah,
in a twisted sort of way. So that turned out to be a pretty easy thing. One chip bad, one chip to replace. But then I started to get into more of the problems. The biggest problem was push the thrust button and the ship would not move.
Okay.
And that turned out to be a thing that had 3 different bad chips across 2 different boards. And as you'll enjoy when you start working on it, the 3 boards are stacked on top of each other.
Yes.
So you can't get to the back ones unless you...
I saw you kind of fanned them out, right? So you can kind of probe on the ones on the second layer and stuff.
Yeah, so there's there's 3 connectors that stick up underneath that metal cage that they're in.
Yep.
And you can unbolt them. Mine were rusted, of course, but you could unbolt them and then actually point them down instead of up.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I could have one board hanging down and then get to the back boards.
Ah, okay.
But they're actually set up in a way that you can. I didn't have to do that most of the time. You can run with just the farthest back board. In fact, that would be my first advice to you when you're if you just have a blank screen, just have the farthest back board in the SyncStar. Yeah, and that's enough to put the score and the stars on the screen.
No kidding.
And you can actually start and run the game. And it won't play right, but you'll at least see the counter counting, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, you'll definitely get the star pattern and a TV signal. So.
That's great advice. So just the third board, the back board, just keep
the farthest back board.
Have that one in by itself and turn the and then start probing around.
So for you should. I mean, first thing you should do is power supply.
Yep.
And you got that covered. Next thing you should do is you should pull and clean all the pins on those boards and try to clean them in the.
We did.
In the connectors. Oh, you did that. See, you're so ahead of me.
We lightly sanded the edge connector on each PCB, and I probably should get some contact cleaner and clean the fingers, the female end of it.
I did that. I used some contact cleaner and I stuck. I used like a little piece of microfiber cloth.
Okay.
And like a credit card.
Oh.
You just stick it in and then pull it out.
Yep.
Contact cleaner, stick it in, pull it out, and I got some gunk out that way.
That's good advice.
But yeah, just start with that SyncStar board in that last board, and
how
you
about
can
the
work
TV?
on.
I should get that TV working first, right?
So the tricky thing on the TV is it's modified, so you can't just hook up to those antenna out.
Right.
But so. How are you going to send a video signal in? I haven't tried this. You could try to send a video signal like from a
2600
NES or something, or a 2600. Yeah, something with just a regular composite video. I don't know if that'll work or not.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But you might get something that way.
I was.
Can you
go ahead?
Can you tell if it's the horizontal hold is screwed up or anything, or it's just blank?
It's white, and we played with the adjustments, and at first it was like some banding was like towards the top. And I adjusted it, and the banding kind of stretched out, and then I had an even-looking white screen, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And now it's just solid white, and it doesn't look like it's rolling or anything. But looking at the monitor, I mean, I don't even see how it's working, though, because that flyback tube is clearly not making full contact with the thing above it,
Oh, really?
It looks like maybe if there's 4 pins, maybe one of them is in, and the other 2 are just kind of like hanging out, or, So
that's bad.
Yeah. So my plan was I was going to try to find a TV like you did, a working one on eBay. And I've been Adventurer 2, GE Adventurer 2, like crazy on eBay. And how did you find your TV? I mean, what did you search for? Because mine actually has an S3 chassis.
Yeah, right. S3. That's what mine had too.
Okay, because everyone says S4.
No, that's not. So there's the S3 and there's the SF. Okay, you and I are the only people in the world who care about this, but
okay.
No, there's like 20 of us. So the S3 is the one that shipped in the single player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the SF shipped in the two player.
Okay, so S3 is correct.
S3 is correct. Yeah, and there's actually one on eBay right now, and I'm the high bidder. And if you outbid me, you're in trouble.
Okay,
but it's under a different name, so that's why you didn't find it.
I did find it. It's at $40 right now.
Yep, that's it.
I'm sniping that thing. I already said
don't steal my TV. I need that.
No, I need that. Are you kidding me? Come on, dude. I've been watching that TV all week, and I'm sniping, and I'm waiting to the last second.
That is so funny. That is so funny. Don't take my TV.
Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it.
Let me tell you why I need it more than you.
But can I tell you something real quick? Mine is actually an SE chassis. I'm sorry.
SE?
Yeah, the sticker says SE.
I think it's still S3.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Because everyone said SF was I was getting it mixed up. So you think
there's a bunch of stuff. There's more stuff online about SF.
Okay.
Just because the guy wrote a thing about fixing a multiplayer one.
Okay.
And my thing is also about SF to some degree because I took out the rusted S3 and put in an SF.
Okay.
But you want an S3. Actually, I want an S3. And so let me talk a little about why I want that TV that you're not going to snipe from me.
I am. Come on. I mean, Ed, I need that TV.
You can fix yours. Yours sounds fixable.
No way.
Yours is in great shape.
No, I want that one. I saw that.
All you have to do is solder a few of those connectors to the top of the high voltage rectifier.
That's so funny because I'm looking at the picture on eBay. I'm like, that's absolutely it. Because I saw the back picture and all the knobs lined up with mine. I'm like, that is absolutely the right TV.
It's actually a different model.
It is.
I'm pretty sure it's going to work. It's actually a little bit higher end model. It has that switch on the front.
Mine has that switch.
You have the Insta View,
Instant on or whatever. Yeah.
Insta View. It's called. I'm pretty sure.
Mine has that switch in the front.
Does it? Wow. Oh, so it's perfect for you. It's too bad I'm buying it.
The switch is in a different spot on mine. Yeah, come on. You're going to... Are we really doing this?
No, I was there first. I already have my bid in.
But
you should just...
I was already sniping before we were
You wouldn't even know it was the right TV if we hadn't had this chat.
That's not true, Ed. Listen, I've been on Rec Games Arcade, going back to the groups like 12
The TVs are hard to find.
I know.
They are hard to find. Okay, so let me tell you why I want it. Because and then we can go on. If you read my blog all the way to the end, you know I had all this trouble with audio.
Yes.
Right?
You went to audio.
And finally, I figured out if I disconnected the audio wire from the TV, I actually had a good audio signal coming out. Mm-hmm. But when I hooked it to the TV, it didn't come out of the TV. Well, it turns out, I just found out like 2 days ago, another guy who's working on one post something in response to seeing my blog, and he says, "Hey, did you notice that there's some cuts on the motherboard?"
Oh.
And see, I'm being super nice to you by telling you this because you wouldn't, when you got that new TV, it wouldn't have worked for you, just like mine didn't. So when you pull yours out, okay, you know you have to solder in 3 wires to it. Okay.
I saw someone made a post about that on like the ATARI forum or something, right? Is that where you got the information? That's
actually for an SF.
Oh,
so
it is.
You're going to be better off just looking at where they come into the TV that you have.
Okay.
Okay. And 3 wires come in. One's a ground, one's video, and one's audio.
Okay.
And you'll just see when you pull out the motherboard of your existing one, it's really clear where they come in, where they solder to. That part will be easy. Okay.
On the other side of that terminal, they just go somewhere, right? Because they
exactly on the other side of the terminal, they go in.
Them, right?
Right. So they go through a hole in the bottom of the motherboard, and then they connect to. They get soldered to 3 different places on the bottom.
Gotcha.
Okay. Assuming you snipe me on this TV, you'll have an easy time because you'll be able to look at both motherboards and you'll just solder those wires to the right spot. Okay.
Okay.
But what you may not notice Okay. Well, the other thing you'll notice is there's a resistor added. Okay.
Okay.
And I actually make a reference to this in the blog, but I didn't really understand why it's there. There's a resistor added. Okay. If you look really close, where the two of those three wires connect, somebody took like a Dremel tool and cut the trace right behind where those wires connect. One of the cuts is right where the video comes in, and the other cut is where the audio comes in, and the cut's actually underneath the resistor.
Oh, so you can't.
So you can't see it. Yeah, and so you're gonna.
They did that so the tuner didn't work, and none of the television audio would ever get to the amplifier, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
so when I wrote the blog, I'm like, and that's one of the speculations at the end was maybe I didn't disconnect enough wires from the tuner or something, because it seems like there's some signal coming in that's swamping my audio signal. I don't know. I don't know enough about this stuff to know what I'm talking about. But then this guy's like, yeah, check out these cuts. If you look at the cuts in the schematic, and I posted something about this on Clav, you can see right where they are. I mean, they're right where those signals come in, right where the new signals come in. They just cut it.
Okay.
And so you make those two cuts. You put in that magic resistor. I don't know why, but you do.
Right.
It's like it bridges one of the gaps you just cut, but with a lot of resistance added.
Interesting.
So apparently they need something to come through, just not all the way. I don't know. Solder the three wires in, and you should be good to go.
And that's it. That's the whole mod, right? So I have to make sure I release this video after that eBay auction ends, so that no one else tries to get it too.
Yeah, I don't know how many. There's just a couple days left.
This video's coming on Sunday, so I think it ends before that, doesn't it?
I'm clearly going to have to up my upper bid. Make you pay for this.
That's too funny.
So to finish telling why that matters to me is because I have the SF in here.
Yeah. Oh.
And if it was the S3, I'd just go make the cuts, and then I'd reroute the audio through. But because it's SF, those cuts don't work. They're not in that place, and nobody online has documented where to make the cuts on the SF.
Interesting. And right now you're using like a modern audio amp, right?
Exactly. So I added this little separate audio amp, just like the size of a quarter. It's just this tiny little thing. But as you know from this story, you're bidding right now. I'm watching you bid against me on eBay.
I'm trying to open the eBay app right now to see.
You are, yes. At least have the decency to wait till I'm done talking before you outbid me.
That's so funny.
He's like, I got to get it in now. But anyway, so I don't know how to do it to an SF chassis. Maybe somebody can tell me, and then I'll just do it on the SF, and I won't outbid you on the S3. But
yes, please help him, guys, so I can get that TV.
Please tell me. Tell me what to do.
So anyway, so you got the game working though. I mean, eventually, how many chips did you end up replacing?
I was like, I think it was 9 solid state chips, so 9 TTL 7400 series logic chips, and then I replaced a lot of caps, a lot of capacitors
for the audio stuff, right?
Yeah, mostly from the audio, but also like the timer being bad.
Okay,
was a capacitor, and I could show you which one if you want. Want to bring your board over, but. So yeah, there were only 2 capacitors that were really bad, but one was causing the timer problem, and I think one was causing part of the audio problem. But the other part is just that, like I said, I didn't mod the TV right.
Right. So you must have been like ecstatic when you got this working, right? I mean, come on. I mean, what?
I was happy and sad both, because I was like, it was over. It had been like part of my life for almost 3 months. It would be like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'd come and I'd work on other stuff, and then I'd go, okay, I get to go play on this for a while, and then it's over. So yeah, I'm looking for my next mission now.
Definitely you should. I mean, I do this kind of stuff all the time. I live for this stuff, fixing stuff that's broken and restoring it to its former glory. So I know the feeling. Like when you finish it, you're like, oh, it's over now. Now what do I do? But let me ask you. So What is your plan on the fiberglass as far as like buffing it, or how's your clear coat? Because mine's a little spidery in some areas.
Mine needs work.
It does.
I didn't even tackle the fiberglass. Oh, before I forget, did you see this?
Mine does not. Mine has no.
You
lock.
don't have that.
I have
know.
An early one.
I saw your picture, and you didn't have that. What's your serial number, by the way?
It's 12909, I think.
Okay.
That's
all right. You can tell me later.
I can tell you right now. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
People don't really know how the serial numbers line up, so. But
it's 10299. Sorry.
10299. Okay.
What's yours?
You see now, I'm gonna have to go look. Here, I'm gonna look really quick.
Okay.
My headset off.
All right. So Ed, what's your serial number?
9095.
9095. What was mine again?
Yeah.
Mine is.
I know, the Comptuer Space guy hasn't put it up on his list yet. I don't think.
Yours is 9095.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And mine's 10299. That doesn't make any sense at all.
If you look on Comptuer Space fan, you'll see the numbers go up really big. So
okay.
And they don't necessarily think they went up in order.
Right. They're not sequential at all.
Yeah. So I think that's probably okay.
Okay.
And your boards, have the chips been painted over or sanded off?
Not that we noticed. No.
So you can read the 700.
Read the part numbers. Yeah.
That's good. So that's a good sign. So yeah, I think you have an early yellow Comptuer Space.
Were yours like sanded off, like to protect their?
Mine aren't, but a lot of them are.
Really? Because they were afraid people were going to copy it.
They did copy it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they made a game called Star Trek. Look at it. A year later, this company came out with an exact clone. Nope. Chip for chip clone.
Boy, these guys didn't care about IP at all. They called it Star Trek too.
Put it in a cabinet called Star Trek, with no licensing of Star Trek. Total clone. Yeah.
That's funny. No kidding.
Yeah.
So will those boards work in our games? Are they the same?
I have no idea. I don't know how many of these Star Treks there are, but
that's funny.
But that's actually an interesting question. Did you see a board set just sold on eBay?
Oh, it did.
Yeah, just this week it sold for like $350. Really? Out of 3.
Untested or?
Untested, yeah.
Okay. Did you see someone selling the new old stock coin returns?
Yeah, I bought one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It's on. Yeah.
So
you need a rivet gun. Yeah.
Right, because I was holding off on it because I saw he had like 5 or 6 left. I'm like, let me look at mine before I buy that, and then I saw the rivets. I'm like, do I want to mess with the rivets? So you did do the rivets, huh?
It wasn't as bad as I feared at all.
Okay.
I was like, like all this stuff. I'm like, a Google remove rivet or something.
That's easy.
And they're like, oh, you take a drill,
right?
And then popped out. And then I'm like, Amazon rivet gun.
Right.
I mean, the hardest part was just getting. I had to order separate from the gun the right length rivet, but that wasn't hard either.
Okay, maybe I'll do that then. So
yeah, it honestly was one of the easiest things I did, and I'm happy I did it.
And did you have to do anything with your control panel and the buttons and the springs? Because one of mine buttons is all the way down.
Okay, I did. I need to do more.
Okay.
So the biggest. So the control panel itself, mine's pretty pitted because of that like humid environment that it was in.
Okay.
I spent a bunch of time polishing it with like an aluminum polish, but I didn't want to polish off the text on it.
Silk screening, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of a compromise. It's okay, but the buttons are still. I'm not happy with the buttons. The plastic buttons have 4 little tabs that stick out, 2 on each side.
Okay.
And some of mine are broken.
Okay.
And I don't know what to do about that. I can't, even that Flippers guy, he sells some buttons, but he doesn't sell the main buttons for this. Like he has the white start button, but he doesn't have the clear other buttons. Anyway, so right now one of my turn buttons is a little sticky. The springs are all okay, but when you push it, sometimes it'll stay on when you're playing. So that's one of the things I want to work on.
Okay, and the springs, are they just like off-the-shelf springs you can find?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have a problem with the spring.
Okay. I'm hoping that's all that's wrong with mine, because the button's just down. Maybe the spring will just push it back up.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have a problem with that. I replaced the carriage bolts, the 4 carriage bolts that hold it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I replaced the lights, the bulbs that are in it.
Did you find carriage bolts without the maker mark on it? Are they just smooth?
They're smooth, yeah.
Okay, good.
They were actually kind of hard to find. I ordered them off eBay or off Amazon. And it took months for them to actually find them and show up.
Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah. So let me ask you a question.
If you send me separate mail, if you want it, I can send it what the link is.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So let me ask you about the lock, because I don't really even understand what it does. Does it enable the control panel to come off? Yes.
So the story is, you know, I mean, one of the cool things about these machines is that the gas can is the coin collector.
Was yours there?
Mine was there.
Okay, good.
Yours no?
Mine's there. I can't get it out, but it's there. I don't know I don't know how it comes off.
It just pulls up.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah. So mine was like completely rusty.
Okay.
Is yours rusty?
It's not actually. No.
Okay, so a guy from the game business contacted me when I first posted a picture of this on Facebook. A guy started asking me a bunch of questions about that gas can.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, why is this gas can so important to this guy? Anyway, and what he ended up telling me was, he says the story is that every time they got one built and we're going to ship it out, they did a line of cocaine on the gas can, and that you can see where the razor blade cut the gas can.
Are you kidding me?
I cannot make this up. I'm like,
and did you have did you see it?
Mine is like rusted. I didn't see anything, but he really wanted to know if I had these lines. So this is probably an urban myth.
Right,
I don't know. I'm just passing it on. I didn't put it in the blog.
I'll look when I get it
out. This is what somebody told me. So, and he acted like he really knew what he was talking about. Okay, so back to the control panel. I'm actually curious how yours comes out, because with this, this has like a little hook latch underneath, okay? So the hook, you know, when you turn it, that hook comes off, and then this whole thing can just lift out.
Okay, because I figured mine was just attached with those carriage bolts, no?
No, the carriage bolts just hold the board down below this.
Oh, interesting.
They're not bolted into anything. So the only thing holding mine down is that hook. So you may have an equivalent kind of hook or something.
But from the inside.
From the inside. But what you're going to want to do when you work on it is you're going to pull it out and then twist it and then just push it back through.
Okay.
And then you can take it out the back, because you're going to want to take the TV out the back and the control panel out the back. Then you can sit there and you can see the TV and have the controls while you work on it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Really important. Otherwise, it's you know, I don't know if you use like a mirror or something.
Yeah, that's how I usually adjust monitors with a mirror. It's kludgy.
Yeah. So you can just go ahead and pull, once you unhook it, pull it out and stick it back through the hole. And you can have it out behind.
Awesome.
And that looks great.
That's great.
Yeah. Other than that, you'd have to send me email about the bulbs.
Okay.
The bulbs.
They're not standard bulbs?
No.
They're old school?
Yeah, and it's like what it came with wasn't quite what it says it's supposed to have, so I don't know. But they're like 18-volt bulbs running at 12 volts.
Interesting.
And I'm happy with that, because I like it a little dimmer because it's less hard on it.
Right.
You know? So and I was able to find those on eBay.
Okay.
That Flippers guy, again, will sell you the authentic bulbs, but they're expensive.
Are they?
I think from him it's like, you know, $20 a bulb or something.
Are you kidding me? I can't believe my bulbs are actually working. I have 2 bulbs in the top that are working. Is there 4 bulbs up on top?
4 bulbs up top.
Okay,
yeah.
I have 2 working, and then the control panel is all lit up on mine, which made me really happy when we plugged it in.
That's good, yeah. On mine, the upper bulbs are these little round bulbs.
Okay.
And those I couldn't find, but that's what the Flippers guy will sell you those for.
Okay.
Expensive price.
And then
he will also sell you one of these panels.
I saw that, yeah.
And that's like $400 or something.
Really? Didn't someone, are those new old stock, or did someone reproduce them?
I think it said it was new old stock.
Okay.
He has a reproduction for the multiplayer, but I think the single player is original.
I see.
if I remember right.
And the computer space name card, marquee, whatever you call it, is that
Up
just
here.
taped on? Because mine's like loose in there. Is it taped?
It's taped.
It is. Okay.
This you're talking about this
No, up top.
or this?
Yes, that.
They're both taped actually. This thing is taped on the inside just with like Scotch tape.
Okay.
And same thing with that. And then this whole black thing,
Yeah.
mine was taped onto the TV with masking tape on the
Really?
outside. Yeah.
Interesting.
Right now I just have it stuck in there, but
Cool.
yeah, boy, more than people want to know about this.
No, people like this stuff. This is John's Arcade. This is what we talk about. We nerd out on this.
This is what you do? Okay.
This is what we do.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's getting to the end of the story.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
is. That's a great story, man. I hope to be in your shoes soon. I want that thing working.
The game is surprisingly fun.
Do you mind coining it up, and can we hear it?
Sure, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That's so I mean, another thing I didn't want to put like a switch for free play.
Right.
And so I showed in the blog where I hooked the coin return to
Coin up.
it to make it do a coin.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I just soldered on like a bent paper clip, and it pushes through the coin mech and back again.
Oh, that's clever.
I don't know. So I made that up. Anyway, here we go. You want to watch me lose, or?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay. There's so much pressure. So, okay, there I collided. That's all right. That's not
cool.
Oh, look out! Get off the edge. So the collisions don't hurt you.
Oh, really?
It can kind of be a good strategy to collide, actually. Yeah. But there's so much. Okay.
And the game is timed, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. We each got a. Oh, it got 2 hits for that. No way. Yeah. So see that counter? I'm like half my time's up already.
Okay.
Can you hear the audio? Okay.
I can. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Sounds are awesome.
It's 2-2. It's a close match.
And how is the AI? Is it okay?
It's surprisingly mean.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can steer the bullets. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, I played it at Fun Spot, and that was one of the things that really impressed me. That the bullets you could steer them. I'm like, what?
I'm sure it just fell out. I really don't think they did it on purpose. Oh, 4-3. It's close. It's gonna be close.
And how you can get extended play, right?
Right.
And what's the criteria for that?
Oh, it's 4-4. He right with 2 seconds left. He wins ties too. Ah, look at that. It beat me.
That's awesome. So in this game you're playing against the AI ship, right? And he has a score and you have a score.
Exactly. So my score is the upper one. That middle thing is his score, and then timer on the bottom.
And how do you get a replay? How do you get extended time?
So if you're ahead when time runs out,
okay,
you get extended play. So and it actually switches from black on white to white on black, or however you want to say it. So it goes into like this hyperspace mode, which it doesn't look as good. So I'm probably lost on purpose, so you wouldn't see that.
So what's your high score?
I haven't even thought about that. I don't
like what's a good score? 20?
I know why I don't even think about it and why I should explain to you.
Yeah.
So the counter only goes to 9.
Okay.
Which is wacky. So it will wrap around after 9. And one of the 2 counters wraps back to 0, and the other counter starts to show weird symbols.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. And so I think it goes to 16 before it wraps. I think it's 4 bits. And so it does kind of. I actually haven't played with it enough to try to figure out how it deals with the wraparound. I think it just is wrong once it wraps around.
Interesting.
But that's a real problem with the extended play because the score just keeps going up, right? So you're going to wrap around. So it doesn't. It's not great.
I wonder if there's a Twin Galaxies like world record for this game. That'd be interesting to find out. Do you know? Have you looked it up?
I have not looked it up. That's interesting. I was just on Twin Galaxies the other day too, and it didn't occur to me. That's funny. I'm told that they fixed that bug with the multiplayer one.
Okay.
So the counters, I think it has a 2-digit counter on the multiplayer.
And I guess the story I read was that Nolan wasn't involved in the 2-player one, right? Nutting ran with that, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Interesting. Is the 2-player one more refined, the gameplay? It's the same thing with 2 people?
I don't know very much about it. I hesitate to be wrong about it. I've read a little bit. I think it has like some kind of hyperspace button.
Okay.
And there's 2 ships, and the 2 ships look different. One looks more like a wedge, so it's closer to Space War.
Cool. All right. Well, you know what? Thanks for doing this, man. I mean, any tips for me? Any other tips you have for me? Any advice before I start working on mine? Did a monitor scare the hell out of you?
I mean, I think.
Did you just charge it just like a normal monitor? You didn't use like a HV probe, did you? Just a screwdriver and a.
I just did the screwdriver thing.
Okay.
And honestly, I just let it sit overnight, and I never had it give me an impressive zap.
Okay.
So I think it's so kind of leaky anyway.
Right.
It wasn't a scary thing. I think if you fix that high voltage rectifier connection, even with that TV that you have, you can figure out how to make that hook up. I wish I could tell you. I can't take a picture of mine because mine doesn't have that. So the SF motherboard doesn't have that. The SF motherboard has a few more solid state components. So it's replaced a couple tubes. So the audio is solid state in this one, and then that high voltage rectifier is replaced with a diode.
I see.
So I could take a picture, but it wouldn't help you.
I understand. Okay.
It doesn't have the other tubes on the motherboard look the same, but that one hanging is not here on this one.
And did you replace your tubes on your TV?
I didn't because I didn't need to. They
worked.
They worked, yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
Because I was thinking about just shotgunning it just to do it, but that's probably bad advice, right? No reason to?
I would have done it if I thought it mattered.
Yeah.
But
it didn't.
It didn't.
Okay.
So.
Understood. All right, Ed. Well, hey, I really appreciate it. And by the way, guys, check out his blog. It's a really good read. It's Ed Freeze. And Freeze is spelled like fries. Is it WordPress.com? Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
edfries.wordpress.com if you want to actually spell it.
So awesome. And you're still doing the fingerprints thing, right?
Doing fingerprints, yep.
And if you guys don't know what fingerprints, actually, you guys, like about 7 years ago, Ed was on our podcast. I'm trying to remember if it was Warcraft Outsider or Video Game Outsiders talking about fingerprints. And those things are awesome. If you guys have a World of Warcraft tune, you can go on his website and print a little statue of your tune and put it on your desk. And you have to keep up with the costume changes and the model changes. Didn't they just change all the models?
They did, yeah. It was actually a bunch of work for me.
Was it?
As a programmer. They changed the whole file system.
Real? Oh, shit.
Yeah. For years, they've used this thing called MPQ, and they changed it to something called Cask. But anyway.
Is Blizzard, do they work with you directly to make sure that your stuff works?
I work with that licensing group.
Oh, nice.
But I don't. I try to leave their technical guys alone.
Right.
Every once in a while, I have to pester them. So. I try to reverse engineer it. It's part of the fun for me.
Right. So yeah, check that out at fingerprints.com. Anything else you want to plug before we let you go?
I got no plugs.
No plugs? Okay. All right, Ed. Well, hey, I really appreciate this. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for sharing with me all your experiences with the game and the good advice. So I hope to be, like I said, I'll send you a photo as soon as I get it working.
send me questions if you have any questions, and please send me a photo. And don't buy my TV on eBay.
So, all right, Ed, thanks a lot.
All right, take it easy.
All right, there you go. That was Ed Freeze, and let me tell you, he is an awesome dude. I love that guy. I truly do. What an awesome class act. So Ed, thanks for coming on this episode, and thanks for all the advice. And actually, Ed and I have been emailing back and forth, and I did end up winning that TV, by the way. I did get the TV. I got it for 123 bucks or something like that, 120, I don't know. But it's on, hopefully I'll have it soon. But Ed, thanks, pal. That was a great interview. What an awesome guy, seriously. So hopefully we'll be talking to him maybe more in the future, because I truly like him. So anyway, what we're going to do now is talk to Kevin from ComputerSpaceFan.com. Yes, this is a crazy interview episode. We're going to talk to Kevin. And Kevin is like the computer space guru. And he's a walking encyclopedia of computer space. He has a website dedicated to the game called ComputerSpaceFan.com. So anyway, let's talk to Kevin right now. All right, guys, so I have Kevin here. And Kevin, you have a website that all computer space owners end up on no matter what. Is that right?
I sure hope so. I'd like to think so.
I think,
yeah.
ComputerSpaceFan.com, right?
Yep, that's me.
And you have pretty much compiled the most, I think, extensive database of information on this game out there.
I'd like to think so, yeah.
Yeah, you know did
what?
A great job.
It's funny, I've had about 15, 18 years or so, and it's amazing to me the number of people who have all over the world have told me, hey, I saw this one machine on your website and wanted to just send you my pictures of my machine, add it in.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have a great site. So tell me, how did you become a fan of computer space? How did you start putting this information together?
Well, to be honest, I got to blame MAME. That's basically where it all started. Years ago, a friend of mine first showed me MAME, and I was just like, wait a minute. I can play like Space Invaders and Pac-Man and stuff with just on my computer. That's awesome. So I just instantly went all overboard with every possible old arcade game from back in the day because I played them in the arcades. And then I remember thinking, oh, wait a minute. What was that one? Looked a little bit like a weird sort of funky fisheye lens thing. What was that machine? And I looked it up, Computer Space. And I thought, oh, I know. I'll just get the ROM for that.
Yeah.
I was really, really surprised that, like, nope, there's no actual there's no memory circuits in there. It's all through discrete lines.
There's no CPU to emulate.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, oh, that's a bummer. So I thought, well, I'll research. Surely with all the like fan websites out there of all the other major arcade machines, somebody's got to have one for the very first machine ever. And I found nothing. And I just thought, oh, that's something I got to fix. I got to get this. And actually, there was the old Google discussion groups. There used to be a lot of people posting about, you know, what somebody needs to do is actually archive where are all these old machines these days. And I just thought, well, that gives me some content. I mean, you know, on a 40-year-old machine, it's hard to come up with new stuff all the time. So I thought, hey, if somebody sends me, I just rescued one of these machines out of a landfill, I'm putting that on the website. So that's how it kind of started.
Awesome. And when did you get your how many you have one computer space? How many?
We have one, yeah.
Okay. And when did you get that?
It must have been 15 years ago. There's actually there's an awesome company I live in Vancouver in Canada.
Okay.
There's a local pinball shop that sells a lot of old arcade machines as well. And I went in there. A friend of mine is a huge pinball fan. I love it too. But he was looking for some parts for his Elvira and the Party Monsters. And we go in there, and he's got a computer space sitting in the corner. And I was just like, oh, how much? And it was a lot. But I just thought, I mean, 6 months later, I'm still thinking about it. So I thought, clearly you want it. And I did a little financial finagling and brought it home.
Awesome. Was that John Jukes? John's Jukes?
One, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
those guys are great.
Are they? Yeah, he's really one of the only people that's selling new old stock parts, right, on his website.
Exactly. And he has, I'm sure people must think that I'm like on his payroll or something, because then almost any time I get a call about, I'm looking for that one valve or that one like circuit or whatever, I'm just like, hey, go to John's website. He got everything. And he's also like a real expert on how to get, with my own machine, I got it home and got it in there and plugged it in. And the first time I fired it up, it made this weird warbling sound. And I was panicking, because I just forked over all this cash and had a heck of a time getting it into the place. And so I emailed him like, this is going to sound bad, but I'm sure you don't have a return policy on something like this. Do you got any suggestions? He's just like, oh, just pop out the circuit boards, get the old eraser trick on there and give him a shot. Worked like a charm.
That's great.
I was just so happy.
So what color is your computer space?
Mine's a red.
It's a red one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
When you go to my homepage, there is actually a red one as the sort of main screen. I got to confess, that's not actually my machine. Somebody had done a really nice bunch of photos of theirs with that as like really high resolution. I just asked the guy, hey, why do I use that as my homepage? Because that's same color as mine. He's like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, right. That's like the navigation, right? It's all inside the screen there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So, all right. So, as you know, I picked up a yellow one. And I'm really excited and into it, and and I've been just on your website like nonstop. Like every night, I go to bed, I pull out the iPad, and I'm just on your site reading everything that's on there, and I'm really enjoying all the stuff you documented. And you're keeping track of like all the serial numbers and all that. And I mean, how many computer spaces do you think exist right now?
People have asked me that before. According to records, there were 1,500 made, and I'm going to guess a good 50% of those are probably no longer with us. And then you kind of nail down, some of them have ended up in weird places. Some have been turned into main cabinets. Some have been a whole bunch of changes. So if I was to hazard a guess, maybe 500 or 600 left in existence.
Wow.
And I think I've got over 100 and some odd in my sort of list there. So I'd like to think I've kind of got most of the survivors there.
Right. And so I did some research. I went back on Google Groups because I go on Rec Games Arcade Collecting too, and I like to read all that old stuff on there.
Oh, yeah.
And I found people talking about the colors, which is rare, which is not rare. And based on what I read, there was one white one, which Greg has from Clove, right? And a few 10 years ago, people were saying there was only 10 yellows, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest were red and blue. Is that right?
Yeah.
But you have documented more than 10 yellows now, haven't you?
Yeah, it's surprising how many have started to creep up out of the woodwork. And Greg did some very interesting research with, I can't remember if it was Nolan Bushnell or Ted Dabney, but essentially he found out that the white one he has, which is not unfortunately from the Soylent Green movie like everybody thinks, was one of 4 that had kind of an unusual paint job to them. And the others were yellow, red, yellow, red, and blue. Only that one white one was ever made. But they're kind of, those 4 were in an unusual sort of prototype stage.
Okay.
And then everything since then was all, except for the yellows, everything was all with the speckly type that the rest of us have.
Right, like the bass boat kind of finish.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, do you think there's like between 10 and 20 yellows? Is that safe to assume at this point?
It's so hard to tell.
Do you think they're going to just keep showing up?
Yeah, they keep showing up. And the thing is, there's no rhyme or reason to, like, I thought, okay, maybe the first batch would have been yellow, so all their serial numbers would be low.
Right.
But you get them, like, I think yours is one of the later ones in the list of yellows. And I just thought, okay, I don't know how this happened, that they've got...
My serial number is 10299, right?
Yeah.
And my serial number is higher than Ed Free's, but mine doesn't have a lock, which says that it's an early one, right?
I think, yeah, because Ted mentioned, I very luckily managed to get in touch with Ted Dabney, and I've asked him just those occasional questions. I don't like to interrupt him too often, but I said, so what's the story with that keyhole? And he had said that, yeah, that was added later so that it was a lot easier to get into the coin mech. You didn't have to roll the thing away from a wall each time. But again, much like with the yellows, it's sort of hard to tell what the pattern is, because you'll get old ones that have got a keyhole on them, and then you'll get ones that are later in the serial number list that don't have any keyhole drilled.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I remember you were asking me about like the monitor chassis you've got. I think you said you had an SE?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find definitive answers as to whether or not that one or the Adventure 2 is kind of the original monitor type.
Well, this is what Ed Freeze told me. He thinks that the SE chassis is actually the S3. It's the same exact thing.
Oh, okay.
That's what Ed thought.
Could be. I mean, he's done that amazing teardown there where he did.
You can see that. That's like a little picture of my sticker in there.
All right, yeah.
And it says SE chassis. So, and then everything I read said, oh, the SF is what's in them. But is that on the 2-player one?
I think it might be, yeah. My knowledge of the 2-player, because I know that was sort of a later on thing Nutting did outside of Nolan and Ted's work. I've had a few people who have done some of that, like looking into the 2-player version, and they've sent me conflicting bits of information about it. So I got to admit, I haven't really done my research on the 2-player that well.
Right. It's not as cool anyway.
No, exactly. It looks kind of dopey with those joysticks.
I know.
on it.
It's nowhere near as cool. The one player is the way to go. Totally.
A friend of mine once popped by, and when he saw that thing, he's like, "Oh, it's like asteroids." I said, "Yeah," and then he had to do like the crossing of his hands to use the controls because it's asteroids like reversed.
Yeah. That's funny. So, are you working on these games? Or do you consider yourself skilled to fix these, or have you gotten really deep into the technical aspect of it?
I've dabbled once or twice. I mean, I've got an electronics background, and I do IT as like my normal 9 to 5. But the thing for me that always scares me is they're so antiquated, and for me, kind of really important because they're where it all started as far as the whole arcade scene too. That I'm kind of scared. Like a similar example, I remember once seeing online somebody had got their hands on a phaser from the original Star Trek 60s TV show, like a hero phaser with all the details.
Yeah.
And the first thing they did was took it all apart, and I was just like, "You do that? That's worth something in the nerd world, surely." Like to me, I know if people have got problems, I certainly try my best to make some recommendations on fixes. And I could probably mess my way through some of the circuit diagrams, but it's been a while since I've been there with the voltmeter.
Right. Because right now where I'm at with mine is I got nothing. I got a white screen. I changed the power supply, and that's it. And I think that there's a tube above the flyback that I think is disconnected from the top because it's all rotted, the little socket. And so I don't know if I have a PCB problem or if I have a monitor problem or if I have both. So right now I'm trying to figure that out. And so if you have any pointers, I'm all ears.
Yikes. Yeah.
If not, don't worry. I'll figure
it's one of those things like if I was there, I could maybe jiggle this, shake that, etc. Right. But it's hard to say. I know that on the power supply there was it's been a while since I've looked at my notes. There was one. No, I couldn't say for sure.
I put a modern switching power supply in right now.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have the original in yours?
Yeah. Because I remember looking into some of them. Yeah, they were just when I noticed that. I wonder if I can pull that up here. Yeah. I won't mess with the screen. But the switching power supply is. Sorry, the one that I have in my machine.
The linear, yeah.
I know that's from the original. Yes, exactly. Getting into that, I'd have to get out the old toolbox.
It looks pretty simple, really. There's not many parts on that power supply. It's probably easy to
rebuild.
No,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, that's what's so fantastic about this machine is because it was kind of going into new territory. I think both Nolan and Ted. It's so easy to troubleshoot various parts of that board. I mean, have you seen that little section where you can actually make out the flying saucer shape and the rocket shape?
Yeah.
Yeah, that just looks awesome to me.
It's
like
cool.
Notes written in circuit.
I know that actually blows my mind that they made the sprite. I know they're not technically sprites, but the dots of the ships are lined up in the outline of the diode. That's just so cool. The diode.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. Honestly, though, Ed Freeze would probably be your absolute best source of information because he did that amazing. I'm sure you're going to post to it that amazing teardown of that unit that he had.
Yeah.
And I was reading that just flabbergasted the level of like nuts and bolts he went into with that.
Yeah, me too. I was blown away by his blog posting, and that's why I had him on this show because. He just did such a great job documenting that. So everyone's going to be reading that in the years to come. Maybe you can somehow put it on your site or something.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. It's on my list to do.
So sweet, man. Well, hey, I'm really glad you came on. I'm stoked to have this game. I'm happy to be part of the club. I feel like this is some kind of weird arcade club, this Comptuer Space thing.
It is, and I think also it seems to have, because it's not a very successful and honestly not a great game to be perfectly frank. It's one of those ones nobody's really tried to recreate it. There's this sort of interesting desire to like somebody should maybe remake this as an emulator box or something, and I'm just like, yeah, but like how many people who own classic cars keep a Model T in their collection? It's the first, but. And I think because of that, you don't really have a lot of people in that club. So it's a neat, unique sort of place to be in gaming.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I've always admired it. I think that the cabinet is an absolute piece of art. I mean,
yeah.
It's just I go out in my garage and I open it and I'm like, it's just like it has such a presence about it, you know?
It does.
I can't believe it's in my garage. When I look at it, I'm like, holy crap, this thing is badass, you know? It's like, I mean, yes, I agree. I know the game is simplistic, but it represents so much more. I mean, it is the first game. It's the dawn of video games. I mean, it started it all, you know? And I love the challenge of trying to fix it. And it's just something that's going to be a centerpiece, and I'm going to be proud of it. And I love it. So it's just so neat. And maybe I can talk to Nolan Bushnell on one of these videos too. That'd be awesome.
Oh god, that would be fantastic. Now I've been following your shows and various podcasts over the year. Have you done many troubleshooting on like old pinball machines?
No, not pinball. No. Not
okay.
Like EM type stuff. You mean? Or
yeah.
No,
yeah.
I have never had an EM pinball. That's on my bucket list of things to get and mess around with. You have one? You need help or?
No. I was just going to say that, like, when you start delving into computer space, you're going to see, like, we are going back that long ago with things that we take for granted, or even back in the 80s that they used to use in the more modern arcade machines. Going into this, it's just like the fact that it's got a paint can for the coin collector, you know, that kind of stuff. It just makes you think, you feel like you're delving into really old territory.
Exactly. These guys, I mean, there was no precedent, right? They had to make it up as they went along, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you have any recommendations? I was asking Ed this because mine has the clear coat kind of spidered a little bit, you know. So I want to like buff that out. You know, I definitely don't want to repaint it or anything. I want to keep that yellow all original because that's what's special about it. But how do you have a recommendation for polishing it or waxing it or?
You know what I do on my site?
Oh, you do?
I was trying to remember where I was thinking I could just quickly grab that.
I must have overlooked that. Was that in the nuts and bolts section or?
Yeah. Shoot, I can't remember, but I think yes, there is like a. There's a good, almost like a turtle wax or something that's good for that kind of purpose. I can't recall it right off the top of my head, but yeah, it can be. I think it's sort of the same fiberglass that was used in a lot of like little wading pools.
Oh, okay.
You know, like kids' paddle pools that they used to have back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I think the same kind of material that you would use to clean up that kind of stuff would also work on the computer space gap.
Interesting. Have you ever like buffed it like it was a car? I mean, you were going nuts like that?
Again, I'm too scared to go near anything that might mess up with it.
So you're very, very conservative with your computer space.
I mean, I should really. Actually, there's a fellow on a podcast who once asked me, he had just got his, and he was having trouble troubleshooting one of the boards. So he asked, "You mind if I like send all my board?" No, it was the other way around. "Can you send me all your boards, and I'm just going to pop it in my machine and see which one of these is giving me trouble?" And I'm like,
"No."
But that's kind of like lending out, I don't know, some archive from the Dead Sea Scrolls. I wouldn't want to feel comfortable getting into that, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all. My favorite thing is when I have parties and then I have friends that come over and I probably shouldn't say it, but they bring like boards to test in my games. Like during the party, you know? like I just busted my ass for the past 2 weeks making sure everything's working perfect. And now we're going to take all my games apart.
It's so true.
Anyway. Well, listen, Kevin, I'm really glad you came on here. Thanks for making that website. I just really wanted to talk to you. I mean, if you got any tips for me as I go forward, please let me know.
Oh, definitely.
But I'll definitely be all over your site, and I really have enjoyed reading all of that stuff. I haven't even read everything either. I mean, you got so much stuff. Is there like a favorite article on there that you like or you're proud of that's on there? Anything in particular?
I think probably my favorite, although it's probably the hardest work, is the fellows who interviewed Ted Dabney a few years ago on a podcast. They had invited me, but unfortunately I wasn't available. And they said, "Well, would you mind writing a transcript of what was all mentioned there?" And I thought, yeah, that'd be perfect. It seems like a strange thing to enjoy as an article, but I really like that because I'm kind of going through step by step all the different things that Ted talked about and how that echoes the kind of things that I discovered on my site. So that was probably my favorite one, I think.
Okay, good. I haven't read that yet. I saw it was on there. It was a long read, and I kind of tuned out.
Oh, yeah.
But I will read that. I'll start reading that tonight. So does he get into the nuts and bolts about how it works and stuff too?
Yeah, he had a great deal. Honestly, Ted is still as snappy today as he always has been. Like I've asked him, I felt bad asking him the odd question here and there, but he'll instantly click back into like early 70s mode and be like, oh yeah, you got some trouble with your decoder on that one circuit. You want to have a look in this one particular diode? And I'm like, wow, I hope I remember that stuff when I'm that age.
That's so cool. So what's the story though? What was Nolan's hand in the engineering? Was it all Ted Dabney, or was Nolan the visionary?
No, Ted actually is super. He's a really classy guy that just always says a good chunk of all the work that was done, both with Comptuer Space and then leading on to Pong and Atari. A lot of it was Nolan's leadership and idea. Like Ted knows that he was the nuts and bolts guy. But if you want a recommendation, I could give you the details of that podcast where they actually interviewed him. I was really surprised that the hosts were kind of like, what's the real story here? Was it mostly you and Nolan taking the glory? And Ted was like, no, honestly, this scenario here, that was all Nolan's, that was all Nolan's idea. He's a great guy, and he's very humble for what a major contribution that he made to the gaming space.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. And I only hope my website shows up properly. I haven't really formatted it for like iPad view and all that kind of stuff.
It looks perfect.
Okay, good. If any of the text is merged on one side, that's on my to-do list.
Yeah. No, it's the perfect website to lay in bed and read stuff before you go to bed. I love it. So lots of good
awesome
stuff. So guys, be sure to check out Kevin's website, ComputerSpaceFan.com, right?
Absolutely, yep.
And if you guys have a Comptuer Space, you need to get him photos and all that stuff so he can add you to the registry. Because I think it is important that this game gets documented. It's good to know how many exist and where they are. I think it's cool. And I do like how you go into detail of all the different owners. Because some people didn't give you much information, but some did. And it was fun poking through there, looking at all the yellow ones. I did that, one night. I'm like, oh, it was kind of fun. And I actually didn't even realize that mine was on there already.
That's true. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The seller showed me the unusual circumstances yours was found in, and I was just like, "Whoa!" I'm surprised it even turns on at all, to be frank.
Right. Yeah. So.
But what's really great for me with following those old machines, to me, each one has like their own little story. So it kind of makes for little chapters of each of their lives, where they are today.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yep. And you really get that feeling when you go through each one. Each one's living its own unique life. It's cool.
Exactly.
So, all right, Kevin. Well, thanks a lot. I'm going to let you go. But, again, guys, ComputerSpaceFan.com. Check out his website. Tons of great information. If you guys want to learn more about this game, definitely go to his site. It is like the Bible. So, all right, guys.
Thanks very much.
All right, guys. That was Kevin from ComputerSpaceFan.com. Kev, thanks for coming on the episode. And, of course, thank you to Ed Freeze and Adam for making this, I think, hopefully, a very fun video. And that's pretty much going to do it for this video. And really, I'm just besides myself right now. I mean, we have a freaking Comptuer Space, a yellow Comptuer Space in the garage. And I'm really looking forward to working on that game this summer. And hopefully, I really hope we fix it kind of quick, because I want that thing in the house. Restoring the cabinet, it's not going to be really a big deal, because it's just fiberglass. There's no way in hell I'm touching that yellow paint. No way. That's original, super rare yellow paint. So we're going to probably buff it and use some kind of gel coat. I don't know, clear coat. We'll see. I might even talk to a body shop and see if they want to help me with that. So we'll be doing that in the upcoming videos here. If you guys have any Comptuer Space advice, I'm all ears. So anyway, I know this video is long. I want to do some viewer mail really fast. I picked some that I think are really quick, because we got to get out of here. This is a long video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I know it's long, but so all right, let's do the first one here. And by the way, if you guys want to participate in the viewer mail segment, you need to send them to blkdog7@gmail.com. blkdog7@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put viewer mail. Okay, the first one, and by the way, the first here. I got a lot of emails and comments and positive comments about John's Kitchen. I think you guys liked it. And I had fun doing that video, I have to say. And Some guys thought, well, actually, I'll read this here. Okay. Hi, John. It's me again. Anyway, I really enjoyed, by the way, this is from John Crawford. I really enjoyed the April Fool's joke, and I'm sure I speak for at least some of us here when I say that it looked like a really good recipe for spaghetti. Is that recipe legit, or were you also cranking our chains to see if we would actually try making it that way? Seriously though, dude, it looks like you have some really good cooking techniques. By the way, I don't even care if you read this on the air. I just want to know before I go out and buy the groceries and try the recipe if it's legit. Thanks again, John Crawford. All right. So again, I got a ton of comments, mostly positive. I'd say 99% positive. You guys liked the cooking video. I loved making it, honestly. That was a lot of fun. I'd love, actually, I might do more of those because I like it. It's you know, that's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I know what I like cooking. I love cooking, and there's some things that I make all the time that I feel I'm pretty good at. And John, yes, that was a real recipe. That's my spaghetti sauce recipe. That's my spaghetti gravy recipe. That was 100% legit. I make that nearly every single Sunday. Honestly, I make that sauce every Sunday. And I've been making it by myself as an adult, I mean, for 20 some odd years. So yes, that is a real sauce. Okay, that's my spaghetti gravy recipe, 1000% legit. That was not a joke. But I hope you, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that episode because I had a lot of fun making it. This one's from Bill McAvoy. Hey John, I love John's Kitchen. The only thing I love more than cooking is eating, so this show was a real treat. My question is this. Is there anyone in the studio with you while you are filming the shows? You are very comical and engaging. I cannot imagine being able to do that to the camera without somebody actually being there to be the sounding board. Anyway, great show. Bill, a.k.a. Data God. Bill, no. There's no one here ever. It's just me living my sad existence in the basement with the camera. It's true though. I'm really the only one ever down here when I do these videos. Unless I have Adam with me or a friend in the video, which will be very obvious. But when I'm doing the basements in the video or the garage, it's me and only me. I do the camera, I do the sound. That's it. Sorry. All right, the next one here is from Steve Westbrook in Arkansas. And by the way, he's got some cool letterhead here. It says Steve's Arcade. Hey John, thanks for answering my viewer mail in reference to the Rastan reactor and 1942/Taito conversion cabs. When it comes to arcade machines, I'm kind of OCD. When I saw your 720 restoration video, again, I just knew I had to help. I noticed on the back of your machine, you installed a beat-up vent cover. Well, I just happen to have the same cover here in very good shape, just lying around not being used. It's no Neo Geo game, LOL, but I hope it helps add a little extra to the 720. And by the way, Steve, thank you. Yes, because actually, the grate that I have on my 720 now was given to me by another viewer, and it was a little beat up. But you know what? We could swap it out. And, you know, not to slight the other viewer that gave me this grate, but the grate I have on here now is a little ratty. Look at that. It's all... I tried straightening it out. So yeah, we'll put yours on there, Steve. Thanks for sending that, buddy. And by the way, I got a bunch of packages this week, and you guys have been sending me stuff like crazy to my P.O. box, and I'll be showing that stuff little by little. I was gonna do a few tonight, but you know what? I'm gonna do like maybe one every couple weeks. I don't want to make it a theme with the videos actually where you guys are sending me stuff, because that's okay. You guys don't have to send me stuff. You don't. I appreciate it. But I don't want it to kind of overwhelm the viewer mail section. So I did get a bunch of packages from you guys, and I'll be showing that stuff during the coming up videos here. But anyway, Steve continues. Like many others, I love your channel, and I try to help in any way possible. So I just want to say I bought 2 t-shirts and a hoodie from teespring.com, and I ordered a kill screen CD on CD Baby. Dude, Steve, thank you, pal. Thanks for, and thanks to everybody that has purchased t-shirts and CDs. You guys truly rule. And I hope the support from everyone keeps you motivated to continue making videos and restoring these great machines for many years to come. Sincerely, Steve Westbrook from Arkansas. And he also says, P.S. hope we can get some Arcade Outsider t-shirts. I just happen to have 5 Nintendo joysticks. I need to rebuild about 4 Sanyo 20 EZs and soundboards. I think that would make a great tech video. Actually, I plan on rebuilding a 20 EZ really soon here. But Steve, yes, thank you for the great. And I think Arcade Outsider shirts are in the future. I'm going to be making some Arcade Outsider shirts for our Fun Spot tournament, because May 29th and 30th we're going to be at Fun Spot. So that'll be the next t-shirt we make. And maybe I can make some extra ones. We could sell those. So stay tuned. But yes, I think we should make some Arcade Outsiders t-shirts. And again, thanks for the great and also thanks to everyone that has purchased t-shirts and CDs and all that stuff. I actually got an email from someone today saying that you can't order the shirt anymore at teespring.com/JohnsArcade. Well, that is technically true, because the campaign did end. But if you go there and you could say you want to be put on the list, you can like order the shirt, and if we get like 50 more people, they'll rerun the shirts. So if you guys missed the first t-shirt campaign, go to teespring.com/JohnsArcade and then sign up as kind of a pre-order to order the next shirt. And you have to put in your credit card and all that shit. So just go there, teespring.com/JohnsArcade. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this lengthy video. I want to get out here as fast as we can. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to thank again Ed Freeze, Kevin from ComputerSpace.fan.com, and of course my buddy Adam for joining me. If you guys have never subscribed to the channel, now's a great time. Click subscribe. I release new videos on Sundays and sometimes in between. And of course, my two podcasts, Video Game Outsiders at VideoGameOutsiders.com, Arcade Outsiders at ArcadeOutsiders.com. I do both of those podcasts live on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern at AllGames.com. And of course, during the week, just go to iTunes or Stitcher and do a search for Video Game Outsiders or Arcade Outsiders. All right, guys, that's it for this lengthy video. I'll see you guys next time. Later, and bye.